Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm going to move my camera over here for today. Get you a little better view while I watch chat here for the moment. Yeah. All right. Greetings and salutations, live from the Blue Cheese Room on the dark side of the moon. It is I, the Loophole King, and it is DMs After Dark. Except most of my DMs are not with me at the moment. It seems some of them are running behind and or other issues. So we have a little time here to do a little housekeeping, as it were. First things first, welcome to the stream. My name's Rick, I am the Loophole King, and you are watching DMs After Dark. This is normally a round table for Dungeon Masters. If you are a Dungeon Master and would like to stop by, shoot me a note on Discord, and you and I will get together here and have some fun. So I move some stuff around here. I'd like to thank my wonderful sponsor, Comic Book World, at comicbookworld.com. Go there for all of your gaming needs. They provide all kinds of prizes for us. They will be giving out a small box of D&D minis once I hit the 50 follower mark. Thank you, Dark Praxis. We are one step closer. We need 4 more followers. 4 followers. 4. Yeah, we are. We're having a little rough time today. If you'd like to follow us on Twitch, on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, which is the same as our Twitch channel here, only on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell at the top, and share the videos. You can watch all our previous episodes of DMs After Dark. Plus, you can watch me play Magic the Gathering with my daughter, and you can watch me do some world building. And we have a stream on Sunday nights, What Lies Ahead, which is set in the prehistoric version of Oregon, which is on the homebrew of Mark Knight. You can head over to our sister stream, DM the Mark Knight, and check out all his stuff. He's got lots of things going on. As a matter of fact, he is at the moment streaming. Maybe we'll stop by, say hi to him, see who all's watching. I think we can pull that off. What do you think? We can do whatever we want today. Ooh, that's a bright light, isn't it? Super bright. Super bright. Today's DMs After Dark is supposed to be Big Lundy showing up here soon, so we can head over to the he's going to teach us a little bit about the
Scanner record. Didn't really care for it, but I most likely will talk.
We can go see he's going to show us how to use, I believe it's Foundry.
I don't know who all of you even are. I know only what Lady Scola has told me.
I'd jump in here and see.
But if there are things you know, if there are things you can do, if there are steps that can be taken, I would like you to do this. I myself, unfortunately, have a visit with the Queen in Geneva that I cannot. Well, I have a visit with the Queen of Geneva in Twyland Hill. It is very important.
Give you a little bit of mark there. He's got a great stream. He does 6 streams. Let's stop and say hi there. I'm hoping Lundy will pop in here momentarily. Sure, Darth. I will send you a thing here momentarily. Give me 1 second. Ah, there you are. Greetings, Lundy. Hey, Darth. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
It's going. Literally just woke up.
I know. I'm sitting here trying to fill time, and Darth was nice enough to go, hey, I'll hop on. I'm like, okay, good. Because, you know.
Well, I'm sorry.
Cameras everywhere. Yay. Share my screen. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way.
Alright, Alright, I gotta fucking... Oh, man.
Let's see if this helps.
Yeah, this...
See, I can figure things out. I'm not a dumbass. Not too much. So how you doing today, Darth?
Pretty good.
Glad to have you here. I am busy just dorking some stuff around here, make sure we can get everything on the... Oh, look at me just all kinds of being stupid here. Ah, there we go. Look at that.
Right.
Yay.
We're gonna...
I love it when it does things like that. We watch our stream. Whoosh.
Okay.
I don't know why it's doing this. It's losing its mind today. Aha. There we go. Look at that. There's like people and stuff. Stupid ass.
Okay.
Because you need to share your screen.
I do. Give me a second.
Alright, while you're doing that, I will continue my announcements. More announcements. Yay! You can donate directly to us via the tip jar. You can join us on Patreon, or you can find 4 more people to follow. And when we do, we'll be giving away a small block of D&D dice, and then we will be official Twitch affiliates. Yay! We are going to be doing a stream with DM Mark Knight, a charity stream. I believe the charity that was chosen was the Trevor Project. That is on the 15th of next month. So head out over there. I know that Nat Awesome and the Nat 30s are both in the middle of, or Nat Awesome is in the middle of doing something right now. She is streaming live. You can check her out. I believe Lord Nicto is on as well. You can always check him out. We love having a bunch of people out here. Also, you'll see down below there is a small... here we go. Ah, there you are, Lindy. I'm going to take my big fat head out of the way. And then take this to full screen. There we go. That's about as good as I can get it. Yeah, so please go down to Extra Life and donate to Extra Life. Extra Life gives all their money to the Children's Miracle Network. And the Children's Miracle Network will donate all of the money that's raised to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital. It is a great hospital and a great place. So, that being said, Mr. Lundy, would you like to take it away for us?
Yeah, I suppose I will. So today I'm going to be showing you guys something interesting. It's essentially a new way to host D&D games, a new platform to do so that's not Roll20. And the reason I'm doing this, well, one of the primary reasons I'm doing this is because Roll20, as a lot of people might be aware of at this point, has for a very long time been kind of the only realistic way to host D&D games. It's not exactly updated as a result. There's a lot of it's kind of stagnated in a lot of ways. If you want to update Roll20 to be better user friendly, you kind of have to go through a lot of like third party sources to kind of update it and make it to be a little bit better. Like even just having like a dark mode or being able to have like animated backgrounds or to increase your ability to upload music and such. Like all of this stuff requires some stuff that kind of is a pain in the ass to get through. So I would like to introduce everybody to Foundry, which is a new way of doing it. Here we have ourselves a beginning map. This has a lot of different characters on it. Many enemies, some regular characters. But before we get into any of this stuff and how this is all like affected, let's make a character, shall we? So, to my fellow DMs, give me a complicated ass character to make.
Oh, that's easy. The Unearthed Arcana Mystic.
The Mystic?
Yep.
What level?
6.
The Mystic is a regular class, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Well, unfortunately, that hasn't been. Well, that's probably a part of a module.
Okay. Okay, then we will. How about a nice character? It is a 6th level sorcerer, 3rd level ranger, 3rd level bard.
6th level sorcerer, 3rd level ranger, 3rd level bard.
Yeah.
Okay. What's subclass for sorcerer?
It's storm sorcery.
Gotcha. And we'll go with Arcana and I guess
Insight.
Insight, yeah, sure. Got some meta magics here.
It's twinned and quickened.
Twinned and quickened.
Yeah, because they're easy. I missed quickened.
What are we doing for the ASI? Ability score improvement or feat?
Feet.
Okay, which feat?
Spell sniper.
Which one?
Spell sniper.
Spell sniper. All right, and you wanted also, what was it? 3 levels of ranger?
Yeah.
Hunter, Monster Slayer, Horizon Walker, Gloomstalker,
Monster Slayer.
Monster Slayer. Whoops, daisy. Well, you're supposed to have both Ranger as well as Monster Slayer.
Oh.
Right. And then that gives you 1, 2, 3.
This is my second
Multi-class
class.
proficiencies. Animal handling, athletics, investigation, nature.
Perception. 'Cause
Perception.
We don't have it yet. You always want perception,
Always
right?
useful to have perception. What's our fighting style? Archery, defense, dueling, tool weapon fighting?
Dueling.
Okay. And what was the other 3 levels?
Bard.
Bard.
College of Swords.
All right, Bard, College of Swords. 1, 2, 3, boom. One skill?
Stealth.
Stealth.
Because we don't want to die because we're switching.
We already have dueling, so let's grab 2 weapon fighting.
Yep.
All right. So, from here, I have all of the features of the Sorcerer, Fit Ranger, and Bard for that particular
Wow.
level stuff. It's already here. I have all the features already done. Spellcasting, Storm Sorcery, Wind Speaker, Meta Magics, Spell Sniper, Heart of the Storm, Favorite Enemy, Natural Explorer, Fighting Styles, all this stuff already included. Spellbook automatically gives me the protection from good and evil that I get as a result. So we got first, second, third, fourth, and fifth level spells and stuff to import. Not hard at all. Let me go ahead and grab some of those. So we're going with spells, level.
We want Shadow Blade and Green Flame Blade.
Shadow Blade, Green Flame Blade.
Yep.
Anything else?
Blur.
Okay.
And Invis and what was the other? Mirror Image.
Anything else
Oh,
you're thinking
I'm sorry. Yeah, Blink. It wasn't Blur. It was Blink. Because Blink and Mirror Image are not concentration spells.
That's true. Also, you know, we're a warrior wizard kind of in a way. Let's go with mage armor, and why not shield? You know, get that reaction economy going.
Yeah. Well, we're a bard. We have plenty of action economy.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But just in case, that reaction is important.
Eldritch Blast is always a good one because we can pick it up for Spell Sniper, our feet.
Yep.
We get for Spell Sniper, and then we can pick up Sapping Sting is always a good one.
Any AoEs?
No, he's a well, yeah, like I mean, you always want like Lightning Bolt. Like, I mean, you can never go wrong with Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt's never a bad idea.
Yeah. And then
anything else you're thinking of?
The fire, the one that shoots 3 beams of fire.
Scorching Ray.
Scorching Ray, yeah.
Easy. Anything else?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, you can just fill in the rest with just random, whatever. That's basically his loadout. Blink around the battlefield.
So I have all those now.
Yeah. Blink around the battlefield with mirror image on and make everybody crazy. And then Green Flame Blade the shit out of people with your Shadow Blade.
All right. We're going to put our character over here. He is, obviously, I haven't done his health or his attributes, but those can be filled in as you please.
Yeah.
Inventory, you can also import some stuff from there. We're just gonna go ahead and skip past that. You can basically see how it works.
Yeah.
We've already done all the levels and the spell books. I have all these spells that I can easily do at any one particular point. And
Bob.
We're gonna call him Bob.
Yep.
Or Bob. Almost called him Bob 1. All right. So Bob has been placed in the middle of this little battleground here where there's a whole lot of crazy stuff going on. So let's say I wanted to roll initiative with all of the stuff here.
Okay.
We're going to be going over here to the tab that says Combat Tracker. And
Roll all.
let's roll everybody's. Bam. All the initiatives are already rolled, and they're in order. Ready to go.
Wow. That's pretty quick.
Yep. It already goes in order, so boom, 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 boom. It already highlights whichever ones turn it is.
Does it highlight them on the battlefield?
Yeah, I have everything highlighted right now. So you see, it has needs to stop doing that. Boom. Okay, so if you click on it, boom, centers itself right on the person that it was turn it is. Boom, boom,
Nice.
boom, boom. As you can see, there's a bunch of different types of token types that you can have for any one particular map. You've got token types for terrain, so here's like just a regular rock. Here's, of course, the skeletons and such. A swarm of ravens. We got some like 2D/3D imagery here for a bear, a wolf spider, and all that. Of course, you have the regular tokens that you can get from your SRDs and such. Character tokens. Moving around the tokens when it is their turn, not too terribly hard. You can just use the directional keys if you'd like. It's extremely responsive. Basically, the moment that you hit the button, they start moving. Well, let's take a look at our friend Bob here for a second. Let's go ahead and skip down to Bob's turn and gets priority. So what do we? So let's say we want to go ahead and lay down a lightning bolt, huh?
Sure.
There's a lot of these guys. We're gonna lay down a lightning bolt. We'll use 5th level.
Oh, it's got a path tracker on it.
Oh, whoops daisy. Let's try that again. 5th level, automatically consume spell slot, place a measured template. Place a measured template is important because it gives us this. It has to be a straight line going straight from wherever you are.
Yeah.
Every time I try to adjust it.
No, yeah, this.
So let's say I want to hit all of those guys in a row. We just put Bob up here.
Yep.
Boom, I hit all these guys. Highlight all these guys. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who are all caught in the lightning bolt. Do. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then that gives me the rolls for everybody done immediately. And nobody made their save. So let's go with damage. 36. We're gonna go ahead and right click this, and we're gonna go ahead and apply the damage. Boom. All the damage is already applied. Everybody's put at 0. Done.
Now, can you roll? It won't roll for everybody saving throw at once. You have to do those individual.
You can. It's what's annoying me right now is I don't exactly know how to change the template for some reason.
Yeah.
I know you can do it, but I haven't figured out all the ins and outs.
Oh no, that's.
But you can change where it's pointed out. As far as rolling everybody at the same time, it's essentially just highlighting the ones that are going to be using the save, and then you just hit. Yeah, it basically asks you for each person.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need to count them or anything like I did. You just highlight everybody who is going to be attacking, and then boom.
That is pretty cool. I am impressed.
So yeah, they can be adjusted, as you can see. I've got a little assistant who's kind of like demonstrating some stuff for me as well. You can adjust like where it's pointing and such, so that's not too terribly hard. So let's say we have ourselves a druid. We've got a character here who has multi-classed into druid. Now, how does wild shape work?
Badly.
In Roll20, how do you make wild shape work usually?
There's actually an API that you have to use to get it to work, and it's still kind of difficult.
Here's how it works here. Polymorpher. What are we turning into? Let's go with a bear. Oh, wait. Wrong list. Open list. Bear. Brown bear. Import. Wild shape. Done.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh my gosh, that's so wrong.
You want to transfer? You want to transform back? Boom. Restore transformation. We're back to where we were.
That seems... that
Crazy,
is...
right?
That is...
Super easy. Super easy to use.
It is.
Absolutely quick. It gives you all of the stats. Now, also, when you do something like this, let's go ahead and change him back into a bear for a second.
Right.
So
Let's make him an owlbear.
So here's some stuff that you can do, right?
Yeah.
You can choose to keep your original ability scores or your original mental scores.
Right.
Keep your saving throw proficiencies, keep your skill proficiencies. If you want to change entirely just into a bear and use the bear stats, period,
Yeah.
and you don't need to click any of these. But some people, of course, they run with different rules where they say, well, I mean, you do maintain your mentals, right? You do maintain your skill proficiencies and all those sorts of things. So you'd say, well, I'm going to keep my skill proficiencies, I'm going to keep my mental ability scores.
And your features.
Yeah, and all my features and my spells I can keep. I can't use them, but I want to be able to know which ones I have. I want to be able to look at them on a list. Keep my equipment. Obviously, I still can't use my weapons, but I want to still know what they are. My proficiency bonus. Some people use that, some people don't. As far as your wild shape is concerned, I generally would. Merge skill proficiencies. Take the highest. I would go with that because obviously one of the purposes of turning into an animal is because sometimes they have skills that you don't particularly have.
Right.
Merge saving throw proficiencies again, and then take the highest, and then wild shape. So that gives us all of the mentals that we had before. That gives us so we're not like a dumb black bear. Well, of course, we already started off with a low intelligence. In which case, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But it gives us all of our skills and such. It gives us all of our. It gives us everything that we had before. So you can customize how your wild shape or your polymorph or anything like that works, because there's multiple ways that this works, right? The polymorpher it can be wild shape. It can be. It can also, of course, be other shit like polymorph, wild shape, or custom like transformation based off of like whatever you got in your mind. And of course, easy to restore them straight back to where they were. One click and you're done, as far as restoration of the sheet is concerned. So that's something that makes things a little bit easier as far as that's concerned. So you've seen how the lightning bolt works. Let's cast a fireball. We got another guy here who knows fireball. We're gonna go see as you click fireball, and boom, it gives you a big old circle with a 20-foot, and you can go ahead and figure out where exactly you're gonna place that fireball. So we're gonna go ahead and place it right here, I think. Yeah, that's good. Gives us a circle, gives all of the squares that it affects as a result of where it is, right? So again, highlights. Save 15 dexterity. Boom, 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 boom. All of them already hit. Now, one of them, let's see here. The black bear and the giant wolf spider made theirs. The raven and the swarm of ravens did not make theirs. So, how do we separate that? Well, we're going to highlight the giant wolf spider and the black bear. And we're going to go ahead and look at the damage. And we're going to apply half damage. Still kills him. Neither one of them have that much HP. And then we go over here, and then we apply to the raven and the flock of ravens, apply full damage, done. Not hard at all to figure out how to do. It tells you which one is ruling what. You have titles for all of that, so it's not hard at all. So that's essentially how most of your spell casting is going to work. Obviously, you've got other things that you can do. It doesn't really work with single target stuff, because with single target stuff, you're just rolling your die and seeing whether or not it hits, and then I'll apply the damage accordingly. Essentially, whenever damage is rolled, I will highlight the token that you're damaging, and then right-click that damage and apply the damage. That's simple. No need to fiddle around with math. No need to adjust HP or anything along those lines. Just right-click, apply. Real simple.
What about conditions?
Conditions still need to be signified by right-clicking and then seeing what applies as far as like a visual representation of a condition is concerned.
Right. Okay. Now, does it apply it to the character sheet when it has a condition on it?
It does not apply it to the character sheet, unfortunately. They are currently working on a lot of different stuff right now, but essentially all you'd have to do is apply, let's say, I don't know, they're slept or something.
Yeah. That's good.
You come up with something, and then there's something. It's essentially the same way that Roll20 does it.
I was just wondering.
Yeah. To be clear, this is version, I want to say 0.6.5. So it's still in beta at the moment, where they're figuring out a bunch of different stuff to do. So there are going to be some stuff that it doesn't do necessarily better than Roll20, but at the same time, it's going to be all right as far as that's concerned. Eventually, it'll probably sort out a lot of the different kinks, or make things a little bit easier to apply. Future versions will probably address status effects and conditions and make them a little bit more easy to apply. Or there might be a module that gets released. Right now, there's like 300 different modules to make things a little bit easier for everybody to do. So we're in the middle of a battle here, obviously. It's a massive, major battle. So we want to apply some music, right? In Roll20, how do you apply music, right? You go to the music, you go to the jukebox tab, and you try to like search for music that's already uploaded into it, or you go to the other tab and try and drag and drop some music from your computer for it. Now, there's no integrated ambiance or music as far as Foundry is concerned. It leaves it up to you to create to add music, right? So we got one here for sound effects. We got a notification sound effect, dice, a lock unlocking, some drums playing. But if you want, you can also just have a bunch of stuff that you've already uploaded in here. And let's go with some dramatic war drums. Why not? That sounds fun. That is an hour-long set of drums playing for me. And the main thing for me on this bit is that you can't upload music to Roll20 that isn't 20 megs or less. Now, what screws with me about that is that it really decreases the quality if you want to get something, but it's over 20 megs and you have to compress it.
Right.
And I can't stand that. So let me go ahead and give an example of something here. So this is, let's see. This is a song that I had commissioned for my Monday game. And this is how it sounds when it's actually how it's supposed to sound. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah.
But this actually has the full sound in it. When I compress this 70 meg file into a 20 meg file so that it works in Roll20, it sounds like it's coming out of a bathroom and the door's closed. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
this sounds nice and rich. So that it's fairly easy to upload it if you just find where you just have a folder on your computer where you upload your different music from, and you can upload anything you want on here. Doesn't matter what it is. It will carry all of it, and it'll carry it from game to game as well. So if you have multiple songs that you like to use for multiple games for multiple reasons, then of course you can just you can bring it up, and it's already uploaded onto Foundry. So when you add a file, it just goes, it's already here for you. You don't need to go through stuff. So, music's not that hard to do, and I love the fact that it allows you to upload files as long as you want them to be. Makes the quality way better. Now you might be asking, by the way, this is something that I don't have done at the moment, but you can have video for your players. I know Roll20 allows that. This allows it as well. The quality of the video, just from what I've seen, is about equivalent to Roll20, so not phenomenal. But there is an add-on that you can use to make it a little bit better. It's Jitsi here. So if you want to find out ways to incorporate Jitsi onto Foundry, then you can find those on YouTube. Right. The basic way that this would work is you would configure the settings and then go to audio video configuration. Now, the reason it doesn't work for me right now is because I don't have the SSL certificate, and I don't feel like screwing around with that right now, especially since none of my games actually use the video in Foundry for it. We use Discord video, so I don't really worry about that. But yeah, it's about equivalent to Roll20 levels of quality. If you'd like, you can, of course, use audio for Foundry as well, but again, if you're using Discord or Skype already, then what's the point?
Right.
But it does have that feature available to you. So, let's look at some other stuff on this particular map. And this map, by the way, is the biggest explanatory map that I have as far as how to make stuff. We've gone over how to make a character. We've got Bob already made, ready to go, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We've shown how AoE spells work. And how you can place them on the map, how initiative is rolled. It's nice and quick and simple and not a problem at all. Obviously, if something is defeated, by the way, like this guy's been defeated, you just hit that skull icon, boom, he's marked defeated. Anything that's got 0 HP, you can go ahead and do that for, and you can right-click to remove, or you can just have it set up so that it skips everybody who's defeated, and then it'll just skip to the next person who's not dead, essentially. Right. So that's essentially how all the initiative works. If you would like, of course, like sometimes players like me, we like to have all of our enemies go on the same turn, right? Well, that's not hard. You can just right-click all the enemies, modify their roles to be whatever one of their roles is, if that's what you want to do. Right. So that's not hard to configure. It'll basically just have everybody going on the same role. So whichever way you'd like to do it, it's something that you can do. It doesn't take that much to accomplish. It can feel a little overwhelming at first when you have large encounters. But then again, they always feel very overwhelming when you do large encounters, Roll20 or Foundry, both of them kind of the same way. So we got a big old rock here, right? This is a part of the battlefield. We got a big old rock in the way. Now, are you going to be able to see past this rock? Probably not. So let's go ahead and make a wall around the rock. Got wall controls. Let's go ahead and draw. Let's see. Is this terrain walls? This is terrain walls. We already have some terrain walls made. Also, I have a feature that allows me to ping, so that's fun. So we already have some terrain walls made. Oh crap. Hold on. Let me get rid of that. I'm supposed to click these when I have these force snap to the grid. It's being a little stubborn. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got a terrain wall made. Now, what this does, if let's see, I configure the scene and I turn on vision, right? If I turn on vision, then we'll start looking at some stuff here. So I turned on vision. It has to reload the screen as a result of me turning on vision. The terrain walls. Yeah. Well, this is just being annoying now. What? I've never had this problem of it had to, like, not loading correctly. Here. Let me see if I can just... Whoever's hosting this, I lost connection for a bit. This is one of the issues that I do have with Foundry at the moment, is that the way in which that it works, as far as connecting people is concerned, is you see this here is an IP address.
Yeah.
Well, it works through a direct port that you open in your IP address, and then you link that to your players, and then they're able to join via that. That's one of the issues. Anyway. It relogged me in as my observer account. Let me fix that real quick. Do you want to log in as a different one? Then you just right. I have a password for my thing. If you want to log in as two separate accounts, this is something that some GMs do, so that they are streaming a player, an observer, as opposed to the GM screen. Then this is kind of how you would do that. You put up the link, you join the link as a player, and normally when you have Foundry itself, it runs as its own application. So you can have Foundry itself running as its own application and then still join as a player that you set up for yourself that has observer status, essentially. Yeah. So we turned on vision.
That's
when we right click, or not right click, when we go to the token, we have the ability to adjust the vision in accordance to whatever situation that we have. So right now it's daytime, so this guy can see an easy 60 feet.
right.
Like, that's not a problem. Dim distance 120. We'll go with that. It is in the middle of a forest, I guess. So we'll update the token to have that sort of vision. Now, as you can see, I can see the boulder.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see past the boulder, and I can see the tree lines in some of these because I have the walls made up, but I can't see past them. I know what's there, but I can't see past. And this is kind of how it affects the vision.
That is dynamic lighting.
Yep.
Per token.
And it's super easy to do. Every token has it. All it does is it asks you, what do you have on here? What's their vision? We'll figure out how far they can see as a result of it. And you can adjust, of course, what they can see based off of these little walls that you can make. You can make the walls obviously surround the entirety of the map if you'd like, so that you make sure they're not looking off of the map at all, because that can be a little strange. And these green ones, of course, are for stopping you from looking past terrain. So what it does is it shows you the terrain itself, so long as you connect them to the back of whatever it is that you'd like them to be able to see, without them being able to see past it. Of course, your regular walls create a hard thing that you cannot see past. We've got invisible walls, which are walls that you can put that you can't see past, that don't show anything as far as what you're not able to see past. Like, it just stops light, it stops movement. That's the other thing. It stops movement.
Oh.
So we have a wall here, right?
Yeah.
I can't move past the wall that I put over here because it's a fucking wall. So you can make walls in that sense. You can add doors. Let's see. Now we're not gonna worry about the doors and stuff right now. I got another math to show how the doors work. You can add doors. You can lock the doors. You can make the doors secret doors. You can create clone walls of walls that you've already done. You can do ethereal walls, which are essentially illusory walls that does not prevent your players from moving past them, but it does prevent them from seeing past them. You understand?
Yeah.
So if you want to do illusory walls for any particular reason, then you can put those in any sort of thing, and they'll be able to interact with them in whatever way that you want them to be able to interact with them. So, I think that's a decent amount of stuff that I've been able to show as far as the forest path is concerned. So let's head over to the cave. Let's head over here. This is a lightly animated background. As you can see, the lights on the bottom here are going up and down. The lights over here are going up and down. We have a situation where it's a small cave. So it's really easy to upload animated backgrounds. Just download it, and on your configuration page, just have it as your background image. Done. That's all you have to do to upload an animated background. We can also adjust the darkness level, right? We're in a cave. It's not going to be that bright. So we can make it a little bit darker, right? And you can have a global darkness level that goes from 0.0 to a full 1.0, which makes it a lot harder to see stuff. Is that the correct configuration? Yeah, this is the correct configuration. So we can go all the way to 1. That's really dark.
Yeah.
And when it's dark like this, obviously you can have the token vision turned on. You can have fog of war exploration turned on. Or if you'd like, you can illuminate all of the areas of a scene that anybody can observe.
Right.
And now this global illumination, this makes it so that if one of you sees something,
you all can see it.
Everybody can see it. Yeah, that's essentially how the global illumination works. So it's up to you whether or not you want that to be a part of your game, if you want everybody to be able to essentially see what everybody else is able to see. Sometimes it's more fun to have the people who don't have dark vision to be kind of stuck in it.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So let's go ahead and move over to the secret catacombs. This is just an animated background to just show how it works, that you can have them, and that it's pretty easy. You can create little walls around the different pieces of terrain that you have if you'd like. I didn't, but you can do that to make it a little bit more interactive. So we got a little dungeon here, right? We got a randomly generated dungeon. Now I've got all the walls already done here. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of walls. If you just trace the walls along your map, then you won't go wrong. So let's go ahead and put Bob in here. What's Bob's site? We'll go ahead and say we'll give him a little bit of bright vision as a result of having a torch, right? Yeah. Torches give you 20 feet of bright, all right?
Yeah.
20 feet of right, and then another 20 outside of that.
20 feet. Yeah. It's 20 and 20.
Well, for dim, you have to double it essentially because it asks you how far you're dim. Like, look, see, well.
Oh, so it'll always give you.
It's just the 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you have dim, you have to add the other base level that you have in order for that to work. So for dim vision, it would be 40 feet because it's 20 feet beyond the bright vision.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's easy to figure out.
Yeah. So over here, we got a door. Well, the light won't go past the door. I suppose we just left-click it and open it.
Is it?
Boom, 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 boom. Easy to do. You left-click a door, it opens and closes it. Now, as the GM, of course, you can go ahead and right-click it, and you can lock that door, make it so that they can't open it, and then they can't get past it. But of course, if it's not locked or if they manage to unlock it, then you can make it so that they can open it. Oh no, there's a spider there. Very easy. And of course, there's another door over here. We can open that door. Shows us exactly like how far we can see in here. Gives you a nice little cone. I love the fact that the lighting is this. It shows the different like corners and such as well.
Yeah,
I like that. It's it shows that vision is a little bit more complicated than just like the cone. So like over here, there's no door here. There's no door here. So dimly, we've got a guy over here.
Right.
Sorry, I'm in GM mode. So if I click on anybody else, then it automatically goes over to them. We got a guy over here. Also, if you notice, there's a light over here. That's because this guy's got a torch in here as well. You can create other lights in the dungeon. You click over here on the lighting controls, and then you have a light source that you can draw. So we got a light here. We got lights here and here. We got a light here. We've got lots of different lights that we can use.
Right.
All of which are just like illuminating the dungeon further, right? There's other features to the lighting, of course. Transitioning a scene to daylight from darkness, so you can transition to darkness. You can transition to daylight if it's a regular thing. You can reset the fog of war through here, or you can clear out all the lights that you've made, so that you don't have to deal with any of that. So we got a light over here. We got lights over here. This all adds to our vision. It makes it easier for me to get through. And we've already opened this door, so this isn't a problem. And we're able to get over here. So this is essentially how exploration would go in your dungeon, provided you draw all the walls. Now, I believe it's over here. I made a nice little secret doorway, so it looks like a wall. But you can't see past it. But there is a door in it. So if I unlock it and I left click it, then we got ourselves a nice secret room here. And it's a secret door because you just close it on a wall, and they won't be able to see it unless they go over to it. Wait, I haven't. Quick activation. So let's bring our observer over here. And configure the permission to lend the observer as an observer. Boom. This is still dark to me. I really should have given him a token. I really should have given him a token. There we go.
And then you got him involved.
He's just a white face on white right now. And
Yeah.
that's annoying. So, the thing that's blocking you off from getting here, by the way, is an ethereal wall.
Okay.
So where's our ethereal wall here? Let's go to our
Somebody's
walls.
dragging it around them.
Yeah.
Oh.
What are we? Ethereal wall. It's purple. So you go over to an ethereal wall. We'll just put one like right here to make it a little bit easier. There you are. I can't see past this ethereal wall, but I can still move past it.
Right.
So that's the main difference, and that'll be your illusory wall, and that's kind of how it ends up working out. It gives you a real quick. I'm on this other side, but I'm cut off from the other side. So let's say you have an ethereal wall, but you want to also make it a potential. You have somebody move past the ethereal wall, and then it becomes a real wall all of a sudden as a result of some sort of like magical trap or something along those lines.
Right.
So I'm over here, and automatically I'm just cut off from the rest of the group. Things along those lines. You can screw around with the walls as you please. but those are the different. There's some different things that you can do to screw around with walls, and it makes dungeon delving a little bit more interesting than just what Roll20 allows, which it does allow for dynamic lighting, but learning how to use it is extremely difficult and annoying, in my opinion.
It is.
And if you don't use that, then you essentially have to have everything turned on to Fog of War, and you have to reveal stuff slowly as they get to it, which is very tiresome and cumbersome. And it also doesn't even reveal all the things they would realistically be able to see anyway, because you just want to reveal like the room that they're in, but they can see past the room. That's kind of how vision ends up working.
Right.
So it's dynamic lighting in Roll20 can work, but it's really cumbersome to use.
So I have a question, because I use Dungeon Draft, which has its own dynamic lighting system, which transfers over into Roll20.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if it'll work here?
The Dungeon Draft likely will only if it already has dynamic lighting built into it. I haven't tried it out, but you can try out.
Can I send you a map?
Yeah, so go ahead and send me one that has some dynamic lighting incorporated into it, and I'll see if I can upload it and see if that works.
Okay, let me.
I've really tried that before, so.
Okay, I gotta take this off of full screen here. Go down to. Did I save it? I gotta go into my maps.
And then I'll just put it in my download, and we'll see if that works out all right.
Alright, so here's one that I made for Net 30. So I will copy it and shoot it into your let's do it this way. And everybody can see the big picture of what it's supposed to look like. There you go. I sent that to you. That has lighting built in.
So let's go ahead and we'll open this. Save image as Net 30's cave. And that's going to put in my downloads. Let's go ahead and go to scenes. We're going to create a scene. And it's going to be, we'll call it that.
Yeah.
Just for sake of ease. Browse. Net 30 cave. So select file, and that'll already be ready for us to use. We'll go ahead and use the token vision fog exploration, make sure those are turned on. By the way, something that you can do when you do have a scene is you can have an audio playlist connected to the scene. So whenever you come across a scene, you can have audio already playing, as well as weather effects. Right now, there's only autumn leaves, rain, and snow, but they will be adding more in the future as far as weather effects are concerned.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and go to here. So let's go over to the Nat 30 cave. So it's got what appears to be. Let's bring Bob in here. Let's give him a look. Oh crap! He's huge.
Yeah.
the map needs adjustment.
Yes.
Well,
I thought you could do that. Where you could show us how you do that anyway.
Yeah, sure. I guess that was the plan. So we come over here. The width is 641, the height by 641, so it's real simple to figure this out. We want to make this, I would say, probably about 4 times bigger. So 641 times 4 is
about 2,500, give or take.
About 2,500. Let's go with 2,500. 2,500 there, 2,500 there, and then save. Boom, blows it up. So long as they're the similar, then it's already fine. And then we replace Bob. There. Yeah. He fits a little bit better in this now.
Yeah.
So this is essentially how it would work by default. So it does not seem like it imports the dynamic lighting itself.
Right.
From
It does
the map.
show the light. It does show the light a little bit.
It shows lighter areas and then darker areas. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
because that's like built into the map itself.
Yeah.
But as far as like being able to cut off your vision, that's something that you would have to manage with walls. So
Right.
we'll if you want to make it so that you can't see past certain walls, then it'd be a little bit of work on your part to essentially trace all the walls, make it so that they can't be seen past.
Yeah.
But this is essentially how you would end up starting to do that. And then you see I'm already not able to see past what I just created there.
Right.
So, yeah. So long as you just trace all the walls with walls, then you're fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how it works because the dynamic lighting, and as you can tell by this, there's light sources on the map, as you can see where it's brighter and darker.
Yeah, and you can place those light sources on the map if you would like as well. So if you already have light sources like built into the map, theoretically speaking,
Yeah.
then you can have the light sources put into the map as well. You have a light source like over here for some reason, like in this spot over here.
Yeah.
The webs are illuminated. So you go down the lights, and then you were going to go ahead and create a nice little illumination here. But of course, while that's illuminated, there's still a bunch of stuff that it wouldn't illuminate past. So you would just trace through all that with walls, and then it'll illuminate what it's able to see around the walls.
Yeah. I just wanted to know. I was just wondering how much extra work had to be put into. See, like with the token vision, it does block off a lot of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not too bad. Like it's still better. Like it's just that Dungeon Draft their lighting is specific for Roll20, so it works a little better. You still have some of these issues, but you're never going to have one picture, one dynamic lighting setting works for everything. So
personally, I like this a little bit more only because it starts everything by default basically has dynamic lighting incorporated. And I really like that. I like the fact that all you have to do is just draw the walls along the walls and you're fine. Anything that you want. Also, I love the fact that it has different types of walls, so that there's regular walls that you can't see past. There's obviously the ethereal walls are interesting. Do some stuff with that. The environmental walls, so that you can see the object, but you just can't see past the object.
Yeah,
that is something I really like.
That is very nice. I like that. That is because that actually is the hardest part about dynamic lighting in Roll20 is how do you get it so you can see the big pillar in front of you, but you can't see behind the big pillar.
Yeah, I want to see what is blocking my vision.
Yeah.
If it's a wall, fine, but if it's something else, then I want to be able to see what it is.
Yeah. Contextually is better.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of different types of walls that you could do. Obviously, I like the fact that you can draw doors and that you can lock or unlock the doors, and then the players themselves can open those doors.
Oh, they can open them too?
Oh yeah, the player can open the door too. So long as it's unlocked and the player walks over to a door, they can open the door.
Oh, cool.
Now, secret doors, the GM unlocks.
Right.
The GM has to open. But regular doors, the players can do. So I like that. I like the fact that the players have that little bit of interaction. Something that I don't have incorporated here right now is a module that I'm still learning how to make called Loot NPC. Or lootable NPC, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Basically, what it does is if I give an NPC items, and then they're lootable, either as a merchant that you're buying items from, or an enemy that you've defeated and you want to loot them. So you just go over, you click on them, boom, you're looting them, and you're taking stuff from them. That's something that that I'm going to be learning how to do here really soon, and it's a feature that's available in one of the many, many, many different modules that are available for Foundry, which I think adds another level of nice little interactability and immersiveness.
So here's a good question, since we're on the thing of lootable bodies and extras. What about traps?
Well, for your traps, you can go ahead and put down anything, like a tile that you want. You can draw something that has an effect. Personally, what I would do with a trap is I would probably just draw it on the map up through either like a circle or a square or something along those lines,
Yeah.
and then kind of like have an AOE effect of what it does. They will be probably you can't import pre-made traps just yet, and there's not really a whole lot as far as that's concerned. So if your trap has like a lightning bolt effect or anything along those lines, then you can just like pull a lightning bolt from the compendium and then just put it on the map and say you triggered lightning bolt, boom,
Right.
there it is. But if it's something like an attack, then what I would do right now until they like update it to make it so that you can just like place a trap that has like automatic damage and stuff. What I would do right now is I would create an actor, and then I would just say traps for dungeon, and then just add all the trap attacks to the weapons list here.
Yeah.
And then, or any spells that any traps might do, put it in the spell book, and then you'll be able to just have that.
And then you can hide the token on the map.
Oh yeah,
On the
you
GM
can
later.
just put the token on the map, and then you just hide that, and your players will not be able to see that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because there's like I said, there's an API for Roll20 that does traps, and you can put in the trap effect, the visual effect, like the fire and the acid and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you mean with the
It's a trap. It's called
yeah.
it's called It's a Trap.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. I was just wondering what the like I said, we're trying to compare we're essentially comparing the two. So having
I'll probably look into that and see if there might be some stuff. You can of course set any images that you'd like and have them hidden as well to represent traps.
Right.
And if somebody sees it, then you can like right click it and then reveal it and be like you see a trap, a tile or something along those lines.
Right. Oh, hey Dio, how's it going?
You can also use, of course, there's rollable tables here, and you can create macros for any sort of traps that you might have.
Oh.
So, like somebody steps across this trap, and you just hit the button for the trap, and it just immediately hits it. So that's a way to make things a little bit easier as far as that's concerned. And of course, you have these tables that you can roll, that you can customize for yourself. Right. I haven't screwed around with these too much, but these are essentially what you would do for any sort of, for your random encounter tables, for instance. Right. You can go ahead and have those already pre-made. Yeah. You can make like multiple tables that you can go through.
Yeah.
Player handouts. These are you can of course do player handouts with Roll20. You can do them in Foundry as well. Right now I've got 2 player handouts. Let's say we have a dungeon here. Let's say you're coming across this is the secret catacombs that I have over here, right? Yeah. So I've got one for the dungeon, right? We have an image for the beginning of the dungeon, for the entrance of the dungeon, what it looks like. Yeah. We have an image that we can upload, and then a text where right now it just says a dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
You can add information based off of whatever the players would know, and then you can make it so that the players are able to see that by configuring the permission of who is able to observe the note. So there's information, for instance. Let's say somebody's doing some research on something, and you already have that as like a bit of lore. You just copy paste that lore into a new journal entry, title it, and then make it so that only that player can view that journal entry, and boom, they have that knowledge with them at all times.
Nice.
I like this in particular because sometimes you don't need a battle map.
No.
Right? Sometimes you're just traveling through a forest. So I'd like something pretty to look at to demonstrate what it is that I'm traveling through. So having an image like this, super helpful. Having some text to refer to know where to for any sort of like extended lore on the place that I'm at, that would be nice. You can do this with both with places, people, things, any sort of object that you can find. Some sort of like a legendary object you could potentially have. They like read in a book. You can put that on there. You can have like a picture of it set up as well as like a description and all of those sorts of things. There's a lot of different ways in which you can customize the player handouts. And obviously, in both the player handouts, in the compendium, in the items directory, in the actors directory, in the scene directory, all of these allow you to create folders. And I like that because it makes things a lot easier to get through. If I can just if I can put all of the player handouts in the player handout folder, then I can focus on other stuff to put in other folders. So I don't have to. It doesn't feel near as cluttered. I can put all the player characters in the player character folder in the handout section, so I don't have to worry about those cluttering up my screen at all. And of course, all of your scenes you can place in whatever. Like we have 2 dungeons now, so your catacombs in the cave, wilderness. We got a forest creek and the 4 ways forest path. We got towns and cities. We got I have a couple towns. I have a couple cities here. So it's really nice. It's really easy to organize, right? So let's head over to the forest creek here for a second. We have another animated background here. Now the animated background comes with its own ambiance. Right now it's very quiet. There's some birds and such. We got a couple characters on here. Let's throw Bob on here. Where's Bob? Bob, come here. Another thing to point out: when I click on these tokens, you can set up the macros for the tokens to appear in the upper left. So checks, saves, skills, all of them—they're all here. Feats, anything that I have active, spells that I can attack, that I can use—they're all here. So, doing a little bit of exploration here, we have a small little forest creek. It's very pretty. It's very nice. And the closer we get to the forest creek, we start being able to hear the creek more and more. And it gets louder as we get over to it. This is one of the settings that you can do. You can set ambient sounds that have radiuses. And you can have a particular sound attached to that radius. And, obviously, you can have it so that it has volume easing. So when you're at the hour level of the radius, it's quiet. But the closer and closer that you get, the easier it gets to hear it, and the louder it gets, up to its maximum volume, which is something that I find incredibly awesome, because I don't think Roll20 can do anything like this at all. Whoops. Accidentally made a new one. But that's something that you can do with sounds. Making it easier to hear creek itself, or going over here. Major difference between going up near the creek, where you're right next to it and you're hearing it, or when you're back here. So, personally, I like that. Walls will affect sound as well. Oh, pardon me. Okay. Walls will affect sound as well. So when you draw ambient sound, if you have a wall in the way, then it will prevent that sound from getting through. But it won't prevent. But the sounds themselves are essentially like lights in the sense of the way in which you're able to see them and experience them. They're elsewhere on the map. You'll get to them, and eventually you'll see them or hear them. In this case. So this is a very basic, bare bones introduction to the different features of Roll20, not Roll20, Foundry, obviously. But it goes through all the basics. There's a lot more stuff to Foundry right now. I've only been using it for about a week, all things considered, for gaming. And I find it to be incredibly useful, very easy, very intuitive. It doesn't really take a whole lot of work to be able to figure it out. I'm still, of course, learning new modules that I can find, like, ooh, is there a module that does this? Is there a module that does that? And usually I'll be able to find something. If not, it's probably something that's going to be addressed at some point in the future. 5e is not the only system that is on Foundry. You can import all the different Dungeons and Dragons stuff. You can import Pathfinder, Pathfinder 2. You can import all the different editions of D&D that you'd like. They can all get imported onto here. It's not a problem. And you can use whatever version you like when you create a game. So yeah. And that's that's essentially all the basics of Foundry and what it's capable of. And my only question then for other DMs out there is, if you have any questions, do let me know, and I could probably go over some of the basic ideas here. Loophole apparently stepped away for a second, so. Sipping myself a little bit of tea. And of course, if there's anybody watching, if they have any questions, let's see, Dio. You guys probably already discussed this, but I know that Foundry has a cost to be able to use it as a player. Do you need to buy it too? No. The only person who needs to buy Foundry is the Game Master. Players can just connect via the link that the Game Master gives. So that's the only thing that you'd have to worry about. The cost for using Foundry is a $50 license, and then you essentially have access to it forever. As well as any updates that it goes through, it auto updates for you. All the modules that are uploaded to it, everything is everything is via cloud. It's all downloaded onto your Foundry, whatever you put on there. And for your players, essentially, the way that it works is, I'm not sure if you were here for that explanation there, Dio, but basically on your external IP, it opens a port, and then you use that port to link everybody into the game. That's essentially how that works. So for everybody who's playing, they're going to be on a browser tab, but for you yourself, you're probably going to be using the Foundry application if you're a GM. But all the players will be on the Foundry tab, and their tabs will look a little bit more like this as opposed to this, which has a bunch of extra stuff, and then the ability to view other maps as a result of being the GM. So, how big can we make maps? Pretty big.
That's big.
Let's make it bigger. Let me get a calculator out here.
Just add a 0.
Let me multiply these by, multiply them by 10. Boom. Boom. That's huge.
That is big.
We got London, Ontario here. Or Ontario. However you pronounce that. I don't know. Let's zoom in a bit. How big is this exactly? Alright. Little character down here. Big map. You can make maps way bigger in this than Roll20.
He seems like he's the size of a street still.
That's because he's a larger person.
Oh.
You can adjust token size as well with the token adjuster. If you go to token, image, you can go with width, like 1.5 if you want them to be like large but not quite large, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Makes them large without actually making them large. But obviously your base is 1 by 1.
Yeah, 1's per
2 by 2 when they're large, 3 by 3 when they're huge, 4 by 4 when they're and it goes on. Yeah, and then it goes on and on and on.
That's really big.
Yeah, that's this is what a normal one looks like at this, and it can get bigger. Now I will say this is as far as I'm able to zoom out, so. You can make it as big as you'd like, Just be aware that there's a limited level of zoom out ability. Stuff that I went over, by the way, while you were gone there, Loophole, is when you do make characters, you can set up the macros so that their inventory, spells, feats, skills, saves, checks, all of that stuff that pops up whenever you're clicking on the character.
Yeah.
So that makes it really easy to quicken use. We were over here on the Forest Creek. Again, another animated background, but the point of this one is you see these blue things here, these blue circles here. It's ambient noise via location. The closer we get to it, boom, we hear more creek. Because I uploaded a creek noise to that. And then the further out we get, the fainter it gets until we get outside of its radius entirely.
That's freaking awesome.
Right? So you can adjust it.
One of dinosaurs eating eggs.
Any sound that you can find. If you can find a sound, you can upload that as a sound.
I can make my own sounds. I can let my kids make weird monster sounds and put the weird monster. Can you attach those to a token? There's another question.
Can I attach them to a token?
Yeah.
I can put them on a token. I don't know about attaching them to a token. I think that's the one thing you can't put the sounds on right now is tokens. Yeah. I don't think...
There's a token... Yeah, the token thing is...
the token things allow for certain things.
What about what's that resources for the token?
This gives you bars. If you want to see HP bars, if you want to see the resource bars, those sorts of things. This is, of course, their vision tab, their position on the map. You can... this is a small thing, but I think it's very important. Whenever something is flying, it's really hard to demonstrate that on Roll20. It's not hard to demonstrate that on this. You just go to their position, look at their elevation. If he's 90 feet in the air, we hit 90. Update token, and it tells you he's 90 feet in the air. Plus 90.
Well, that's awesome.
So it's way easier to keep track of that. It's something that I kind of skipped over a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just 0 when it's on the ground.
I was just wondering if you could put the monster sounds with the monster.
Oh yeah, you can make ambient monster sounds as well. Like, let's say you have like some wolves that are like chewing on some stuff over here. You could upload like a sound of wolves chewing on stuff.
Yeah.
And just have that here with the wolves around it.
No, I meant like a wolf, random wolf growling and the dog growling stuff, and just attach it to the token. But you'd have to move the sound and the token every time, right? Yeah,
you have to move the sound and the token at the same time, which is kind of hard to do because you move the token via this tab here, and then you move the sound via this tab here. So it's not exactly.
Because I know you can link tokens and move the tokens together. I was just wondering if you could make that, if you could attach it like you could that.
Not right now. I can see that there might be a problem with doing that though, because essentially it plays infinitely. Right. Yeah. When it's like that, it doesn't stop at any one particular point. So if you were to move remove the sound with the token, it would just be constantly snarling in your ear, without ever stopping, and that can be somewhat annoying. If you do ever want to turn off the ambient sounds that you have set up for whatever the map is, either for the ambient sounds that already come with the background of the map as a result of it being animated, or the ones that you've already put in, then there's easy global volume controls. You can turn the ambience down all the way. Interface is obviously like notations, like if somebody types in the chat or somebody is like rolling dice and stuff like that, you can turn that down if you don't want to hear that. And of course the regular playlist music, you can turn that down to adjust to whatever your player sensitivity is. So those are easy to handle.
Did you cover the actual costs of the program?
It is a $50 flat fee for a GM to get it, and then from there you have it forever, including all of the updates that they will go through, including all of the modules that they upload. Any add-ons that they upload, you'll have access to those. Players don't pay anything. It's just the DM that has to pay, and it's a one-time payment of $50. Which, again, granted, that's $50 more than you have to use to pay for Roll20, but I think we've notated that for the most part, this is faster.
Yeah, it seems
it's more responsive.
It seems to require less API coding to do a lot of the same stuff.
Yes, it has a lot of it already built into it. Now, of course, if you want to do more coding stuff, then you can like upload the Linux version if you'd like. If you know how to use Linux and all that sort of thing. I don't know how to do that. I'm technologically stupid. So there's no way I'm going to be able to handle all that stuff. So I'm glad that all this stuff is more or less intuitive.
Right.
So we've gone over all the different tabs. Here's the chat tab. Something that a small feature, a very small feature that I kind of think is fun on this one. If I were to talk, it zooms in and centers on the person talking when you have their thing going.
I do like that.
Gives you a nice little talk bubble. I think that's cute. I like that. It's a very small thing, but it's something that all the little things add up to being a very pleasant experience and very smooth. Being able to move around with your directional keys, I think is nice. Obviously, I've shown how the encounters work. Very simple, very easy to use. You're able to roll everybody's initiative at once. Now, obviously, you know, your PCs might not want you to roll their initiative for you, and that's entirely fair, but you don't have to. Just as a quick checkup, when we get back to here, let's go ahead and end this combat. And let's go ahead and hit him again. Begin combat. This will just roll the NPCs. So you have two buttons. You have roll all and roll NPCs. So if you have a character set up as a player character, it won't roll if you hit this button. And then the characters can roll their stuff themselves, which I totally understand. It's your character. You want to do your rolls for your character. That's fine. So it's that simple. And it does them all at the same time. Boom. Easy. Immediately sorted. And that's with a lot of different things put on here. Now, obviously, there's some stuff there's some tokens that are on here that are like trees. I don't need those on there. Trees, rocks, those don't need to be on there.
Yeah.
So I'll just hit them as like defeated enemies or something.
Yeah.
And then it'll automatically skip them. I can also, of course, just right-click remove them. Whichever is easier for you. But you'll have if you want to use tokens as extra background stuff, then they will also roll with the initiative, even if they don't have an initiative modifier at all. But they're easy enough to remove and get rid of, at least as far as the initiative tracker is concerned. Here's where you'd have your scenes. Obviously, you can create your own folders. You can create your own scenes that go into each folder. Switching between them is super easy. Easy as 1, 2, 3. You can switch them as a GM without your guys coming with you by left-clicking, or you can activate them by right-clicking. Real easy, real simple, easy to configure. Your actors list, which has all of your different creatures, your antagonists. You can have all of the different creatures uploaded onto here. Any sort of folder that you want to use, you can use for it. Your items list, you can have as many items as you want. Can you use D&D Beyond, or do you have to manually import your character? So there are add-ons to import your character from other things. Right now, there's an add-on for Roll20. So if you're switching a game from Roll20 to a game on Foundry, there is something you can get. It is not for Foundry. It's on Patreon. It's another person's thing. But essentially, it makes it so that all of your files that are downloaded for a particular game on Roll20 can be imported over into a Foundry game. And D&D Beyond, I believe that there's something for that. I haven't checked yet, so don't take that entirely closely. I don't know if that's true or not.
The character sheets are basically D&D Beyond anyway, right?
I mean,
Close enough.
Basic sense. I mean, they have everything on here. You shouldn't need to use D&D Beyond, in my personal opinion, if you're using these character sheets. They're pretty easy to navigate. You have all your basic stuff. You have your inventory. which has all of your different like equipment as well as your weapon attacks and anything along those lines. Your features are kept track of really quickly and really easily. I like the fact that for the features as well as the spell books, there's always a nice little icon here. Everything has artwork. I like that. I prefer that personally. Yeah. You can upload. You can write your own biography, obviously, if you'd like to. All of those things are things that you can that you can keep track of here.
I'm sure there's a VTT for it.
Yeah, there likely is. I haven't looked, but I wouldn't doubt if there was.
Awesome.
So, any more questions for me? This is all a basic thing, by the way, a basic rundown.
Right.
None of that, like I for certain do not have all of everything figured out. I've only been using it a week, so.
Right. I'm going to move myself down here. You can go ahead and stop with that.
Sure.
And I'm going to... I'm screwing around with my picture and fucking things up again.
Where's my Discord here? There it is.
Because I wanted to talk... oh yeah, Dia's got one more good question. What kind of strain does it put on your PC?
Not at all. Here, let me make it actually easier to see. Let's go to my task manager here for a bit. I'm just using the Firefox version right now. So this essentially takes no more than just regularly having a tab.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I'm currently using this via another person's thing. Because my stupid router that I have, my default router, does not allow me to open any ports, which is ridiculous. So I'm getting another router that'll allow me to do that.
Yeah.
So right now I'm using somebody else's router for the ports at the moment. But that's something that you can easily do. Let me see if I can. Here, I'll run my own version of Foundry, and we'll take a look at how much memory, CPU stuff that.
I don't think it's that much.
It's not. I know it's not that much, especially when it's. I mean, it has a decent amount of stuff you can download into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for memory right now, with running it, about 200 megs.
That's it.
Yeah. That's how much memory it takes up. About 200 megs while it is running.
While it is running.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
and
now that we have
again, it's just like any other website browser page.
Oh yeah. So we got some more people in here, and there was a new link sent out. It was what I was looking at while I was AFK there while you were discussing that. Wizards has released another set of Unearthed Arcana feats.
Yup.
And I thought that we might go over them as DMs to see what we think about them.
Sure, why not?
What do you think, Darth?
Sure.
Get your input on these as well. So I'm going to drop this down. I'm going to open this up. Unearthed Arcana 2020 playtest material feats. And we have a few of them, actually. There's 3 pages full of these bad boys. So I'll just go ahead and we'll start with the first one. Artificer Initiate. You've learned some of the Artificer's inventiveness, granting you the following benefits. You learn 1 cantrip of your choice from the Artificer spell list, and 1 first level spell of your choice from that list. Int is your spellcasting abilities. Whenever you gain a level, you can replace one of these spells with another spell of the same level. You can cast this feat's first level spell without a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you can do it again. You can also use it using any of your spell slots. And you gain proficiency in the type of artisan tool of your choice, and use that type as a spellcasting focus.
So this is one of the most of the feats on this list kind of follow some sort of like special progression.
Right.
We have three weapon feats, and then we have these sorts of feats.
Yeah.
Artificer Initiate, Eldritch Adept, all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Which essentially means take a class that has a special thing that it can do. We're going to make it so that if you are that class already, you can take a feat to do another of those special things, or if you're not that class, you can borrow that special thing from that class.
Yeah.
And depending on where it comes from, it can be good or it can be kind of underwhelming. As far as the artificer is concerned, as a feat, it's not bad as a feat. I mean, it gives you a decent amount of stuff, but I don't know. I feel like it would be a feat that you'd have to get a level 4 for it to be like that useful.
I don't think this is any good because your spell list is garbage. To be honest,
your spell list is garbage.
I mean, if
you need to get it early, and then it would fall off very, very quickly.
Right. I think that and the artisan's tools aren't helpful as much as you would think. So this one's not. I'm not a big fan of this one.
Well, I mean, that kind of depends a little bit on the DM, doesn't it? As far as like whether or not the tools are going to be useful.
Well,
because some DMs will allow you to use the tools for other stuff. Also, of course, you can choose a type of tool to use as a spellcasting focus in case you don't already have one.
Right.
So that would be nice too.
Yeah. Any spell you cast use intelligence as a spellcasting mode. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're a high level, to me, it seems like this is just a way to grab an extra spell, a cantrip from a first level spell as a melee kind of character or something. I don't see.
Yeah,
I don't see.
I mean, not even just as a melee character, but like if you just want another spell. This is kind of like one of the things that I've noticed with these like borrowing from a class feats is that. Even if you're already a spellcasting, if you're a spellcasting class already, then you can potentially get this feat. But if you were a spellcasting class already, chances are this is going to be a downgrade for you compared to other feats that you can get, like Spell Sniper or Magic Initiate, even.
Right.
Or anything along those lines. There's other feats as far as getting spells are concerned that are just better. Right. I mean, this one doesn't give you access to Eldritch Blast, for instance. If I'm a wizard and I want Eldritch Blast, I'm not taking Artificer Initiate.
No. Now this next one
sucks.
Now this next one I do like. I like Chef. I think Chef
I like it too.
So your time and effort spent mastering the culinary arts has paid off. Increase your con or wisdom by 1 to a max of 20. You gain proficiency with cook's utensils if you don't already have it, which a lot of people forget to do. As part of a short rest, this is my favorite part. These two. As part of a short rest, you can cook a special food. Provided you have the ingredients in the cooked utensils. You prepare enough of this food for a number of creatures equal to 4 plus your proficiency bonus, so you automatically get 6 at first level. Like if you took this as a first.
If you went as a variant human, then you took this as a feat. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a +1 to your Constitution, and you can feed your entire party every short rest. And anybody who eats the food and spends a hit dice gains an extra 1d8. That's powerful.
So the one thing that's really nice for me, for as far as I'm concerned with that, is that I always take Outlander whenever I feel it's appropriate, specifically because I feel it's a very important thing to be able to feed your party. So now, if you don't want to take Outlander, if you want to get a different background while also being able to feed your party, you've got this as an option. Which is super, super nice and adds a little bit of versatility. But also, just in general, it's a really nice, how to put it? It's a really nice aesthetic feature. Yeah. It's a really nice role play feature.
Yeah.
You don't get many feats that are that useful as far as role play and stuff is concerned.
No.
You got like Observant and Linguist.
Okay. Yeah, that's. And then the other bullet is with 1 hour of work, or when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. So 2 at first level. These last 8 hours. A creature can use a bonus action to eat 1 and gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. And that's powerful to me. Because there's
good.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't specify that they can't use them more than once. Like a lot of stuff says that you can use this once per short rest, right? So if you spend 2 hours and make 4 of these at first level, and then give them to your barbarian, he's got 2. He's basically getting 4 extra hit points as a bonus action, which he doesn't use anyway for action economy. right? Like he rages and goes, "Cool, I'll hit this thing, pop a Scooby snack," right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's it makes it viable as that in general right there is what makes it like viable as a feat.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I would probably put limitations on that. Just because, like, I wouldn't want you to be able to stack them infinitely, right?
Well, that's why they only last 8 hours. So even if you make, so if you tried to make,
so you spend like if you spend like 7 hours making food, right?
Yeah.
And you make 7 hours, it's 14 treats that you can make in 7 hours, and then you just hand all the treats over to the barbarian, and the barbarian eats all the Scooby snacks.
Yeah.
And then they have so that's 14 treats plus 2 proficiency level. That's 28 temporary XP for an hour.
Well, yeah, but they don't stack. So you eat one, you gain 2. Until those 2 go away, you can't eat another. If you eat another one, you just reset the 2.
You just reset it to 2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would make it do, right?
Well, no, that's what it does. That's because temporary hit points don't stack.
Sorry, earlier you said that one of the things that you pointed out was that it doesn't say that it doesn't stack.
Well, no, it doesn't. There's no limit on how many you can use for a combat.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So he can spend, like, he gets hit, takes 8 points of damage. His turn, he attacks, pops a Scooby snack, gets 2 temporary hit points, and if he's raging, that's basically 4, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
All right.
So he can do it. He can take one of these every round. Let's say he gets hit, he takes one. He gets hit, he takes one. If he doesn't get hit, he doesn't take one. Right? It's just, but it's also good for like your spellcaster who has like 5 hit points or 6 hit points. It's like cool, boom. And temporary hit points last until you use them. So you can do this at the end of as part of a short rest. You cook. Right? You say that cooking takes 20 minutes, so your short rest take an hour and a half instead of an hour. You spend half an hour cooking, everybody gets an extra hit die, and then you toss on an extra hour and then hand the mage and the barbarian a Scooby snack.
Yeah.
That seems so effective. And then when you look at this, the feeding portion, so let's say that you want to be a healer, right? Let's say I'm going to be a cook. I'm going to make a cook. So, very human, I take chef at first, right? Then at 4th level, you pick up healer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that as once per short rest, I can use a charge out of a medicine kit, a healer's kit, and give you 1d6 plus your level in hit points as an action. So I can run around the battlefield going, clear, right?
Yes.
And then you take medic, which says at the end, I would take medic first. I would take healer. And then medic at 8th. So medic says that you can perform a medicine check, DC 15, and whenever they spend hit dice, they gain their first hit dice they spend, they gain max. So you would spend your first hit dice, gain max plus a D8. And if you happen to be a bard, let's say you go straight class bard with all of these. And then you use your extra bardic dice, your healing, your soothing song. So the first hit dice.
Rest.
Yeah, all that stuff. You're just stacking on hit points and you're just taking such a load off the healer. That's just, I think that's good role playing. Right? That's just something.
It's good for role play. It's effective as a feat. It's a solid feat. It's not so strong it's overpowered, but it's a nice extra thing to have that would work for basically anybody, regardless of who you are. If your character wouldn't be a cook, then fine, you don't have to do it. But it's just a useful feat overall to have for both roleplay and mechanical purposes.
Like in the Sunday game, I can see Andal having this because he had to feed himself because he was by himself for so long.
I can see, of course, we have a chef in the Wednesday afternoon game, Century. He could possibly have this. He puts on a chef's hat and an apron all the time. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't he be able to have this? It'd be nice. It'd be good to have that sort of thing. It's a good feat. I like that feat. We can keep that feat. Artificer Initiate, I think is kind of dead. It's not great.
It's dead.
But Chef, I like.
Crusher. You're practicing the art of crushing your enemies.
I
Okay.
hate all of these. I hate all of these weapon feats.
Really?
These are all bad.
Increase your strength or dex by 1. Okay, I don't know why you would use dex. That seems dumb, but okay.
Dex for a hammer. Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're dual wielding because it's just a bludgeoning damage. So once per turn, we hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage. So you can dual wield light hammers as a ranger. So yeah, I mean, I can see that. Right?
God, it's so niche though.
Yeah.
Who uses light hammers when you're dual wielding?
I do sometimes. I do sometimes as a dwarf. I use a hammer and an axe, one in each hand, because
it's just not that common.
No, it's not that common. But you can move it up to 5 feet to an unoccupied space, provided the target is no more than one size bigger than you. That's not bad. Like
it's not. Well, what extra benefit honestly does that give? I mean, an extra 5 feet.
Well,
it's forced movement. So for one, no one's getting an attack of opportunity out.
Well, no, it's about battlefield control, right? Like my ranger or my bard likes battlefield control. So if I hit you, like if you're like, they need to all be together for my web spell, and I bash him and scoot him 5 feet. So now he's. I mean, how many times have you seen where the wizard AoEs something and misses 2 guys because they're 5 feet away they're too far out?
That happens
sure.
a lot in my games.
Does it really? Yeah. Like the guy goes fireball and you miss 3 guys because they're all 5 feet not in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have
but you only move one person, and that person has only moved 5 feet. And I just feel like that's not something you're going to be using all that much, to be entirely honest. I think even then. Like I find forced movement on a proc to be somewhat annoying as a martial person myself, because it regularly means that I have to consistently move around the battlefield more than I would like to. I would like to keep everybody in front of me, and I would like to keep everybody from being pushed out of my range.
Here's the thing: you have to build. This goes with a specific build, right? So this goes with the barbarian, more than likely. And then you want to make sure that you also take the polearm feat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using a polearm, you knock them back 5 feet with your attack. Since you have reach, they're outside of your attack. And then with polearm, it says the polearm feats, polearm master says when they enter your space. So
yeah, but the polearm master feat doesn't include lucernes or the long hammers. It doesn't include that. So like you'd have to have it only includes slashing and stabbing weapons. It does not include
because right now the player's handbook doesn't include any of those. I am one of those that says if you want to use a polearm and it wants to do bludgeoning damage, I'm okay with that as a DM, because I think there's a shit ton of hammer polearms. There's a shit ton of them, and there have been. Huh?
Yeah, but they're wielded differently. Like, realistically speaking, when you're wielding a guisarme or when you're wielding a glaive or a spear, you're not attacking people in the same way that you would be if you were wielding a polearm hammer. When you wield the polearm hammer, you're just going to be hitting somebody in the side of the head.
Thorium Dragon makes a good thing. Crusher would sec well with Quarterstaff and Sentinel. Knock them back, they come back in, you provoke Sentinel.
That's true.
Not when they come back in. Sentinel gives you an attack of opportunity when they try to move past you or when they try to disengage from you.
Yeah,
and then you can decrease their speed to 0 when they do
right.
so.
But if you knock them, but with this, if you hit them, you knock them back. So they're trying to run past you. They get next to. They go to leave your space. You hit them. Their speed not only becomes 0, but you scoot them back 1 space. So they have to leave your space again to trigger your Sentinel again. Like you could keep somebody in your set.
Yeah, but they would have to leave your space again regardless. Like, it doesn't actually add anything to it. If you're activating Sentinel, you're hitting them, you're reducing their speed to 0, so they're stuck next to you now. They'd have to try and leave your space regardless of whether or not you knock them 5 feet or not. And if you do knock them 5 feet, upward or to the side of you, then they can just run around you past that anyway. Right. And now they're outside of your reach, so you actually can't even use Sentinel at that point.
Here's the other thing that I think it goes well with is when you score a crit that deals bludgeoning damage to a creature, attacks against that creature made with advantage until your next turn.
Yeah, but that doesn't. No, Sentinel does not. It is not provoked on force movement.
No,
it's not.
it's nothing is provoked on force movement.
Force movement is specifically stated as not being something which can proc attacks of opportunity.
Yeah.
And Sentinel only procs A if somebody tries to disengage from you, B or any other sort of like actual attack of opportunity that you have available to you, and C if somebody is within 5 feet of you and they're attacking somebody who's not you.
Right.
Those are the 3 things that Sentinel does.
Right. But I think like this crit. I mean, if you've got a high crit, like if you're looking at, like I said, the Barbarian with the hammer. Well, take Oscar. Barbarian with the hammer. I crit you. I get Great Weapon Master at 4th level. So I'm going to crit you. I get another swing. I already get advantage, right? Because you reckless attack all the time. Like, I don't know why Barbarians don't. I get yelled at by Sunday.
Connection issues.
Huh?
I think your stream might have hiccuped as well.
Did it? It doesn't seem like it here. Thorium has a
let
look.
me refresh. Let me refresh it and see if it works up. Okay, you're still running. All right. Sorry, you cut out a lot there.
I'm sorry. So yeah, so if you're using reckless attack, you crit fish with your hammer. I hit you with my attack that gets advantage, and then everybody else gets advantage. That's kind of powerful.
It can be powerful, provided that you land a crit. But how often, realistically, do you land crits?
As a barbarian, I land a lot of them because I use reckless attack all the time.
Even if you use reckless attack, you don't crit that much. I mean, to be entirely honest.
Okay, so what if you're using the elf samurai who's going to crit all the time?
Now, even with the samurai, you're not going to be critting that much. What does it increase it increases it to a 19 then, right?
Yeah, 19 with 3 dice.
Nah, even then, you're not going to be critting that much. I don't like any feat that relies its primary like usability and good shit based off of whether or not you crit, because crits don't happen that much.
Right.
Sometimes they happen a little bit more often than usual, but for the most part, you're not going to be critting all that much. And I prefer something that's more consistent, that doesn't rely on D20 rolls in order to potentially proc. Especially since with advantage here, you can cause advantage in other ways without even needing a feat.
Right.
Flanking, something like that.
But this is
causing them to be blind.
Well, yeah, but this is one of those where I think that the top bullet point is bad. Like the strength dex thing, I can see it, but I don't like it. I'm a big fan of the 5 foot movement. I like battlefield control.
I like effective battlefield control, and I don't feel 5 foot force movement once a turn is that effective, in my opinion. Especially if like they go right after you, they can just move that 5 feet, and there's going to be no like penalty to that.
Yeah, there's ways either way. So we're going to give this a 2.5 on a 5.
I can go with that. I can go with a 2.5 on a 5.
I would put it.
Yeah, like a 2.5.
Maybe if it was like 15 or 10 feet, it'd be a little.
Yeah, if you could like roll a d6 and like multiply that by 5, that's how much you push it. I'd say that would be way more effective. Or like not even a d4.
Yeah, that'd make it something.
I would prefer it be 5 feet and prone. I would take 5 feet and prone.
Yeah.
Or knock them
5
prone.
feet in prone, I would take 5 feet in prone.
Or I would I could get rid of the 5 feet and just take prone. I would take knocking them prone. Right?
I would accept that as well. It would essentially give you an automatic trip attack that you would be able to use once a turn. I would be fine with that. The 5 feet is just not doing it for me.
Yeah.
Anything else, I can handle. I think might be better. And I think prone makes sense when it comes to Crusher, because you're hitting your overhand, crushing something to the ground. It makes sense. It could be a better feat, a much better.
It could be better. We can see what. But again, I don't remember what I think. Flail Master maybe would go good with that. Depends on it's just bludgeoning damage, so it doesn't require. I'd have to check into that. I'm going to have to go looking in to see how I can break that.
As it is, the way I can see it being useful is only if you pair it with other feats that are. I don't like having to pair feats together in order to make them effective. A feat should be effective on its own, in my opinion. Absolutely.
but I can see this having uses in a build, right? That's why I can't see Artificer Initiate ever wanting to take that. Like I can't never.
I can't.
Even if you're an artificer, like, I want an extra cantrip from my list, my shitty list.
Yeah.
No, I want like a cantrip from somebody else's list.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, artificers are already proficient with all the tools if you just take an hour, right? So that doesn't do anything. So
the third bit doesn't even help you as far as an artificer is concerned.
No.
Like, even if you're an artificer, you don't want that. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. So Eldritch Adept. Okay, so the prereq. This one is the first one we have with the prereq. You must have spellcasting or the pack magic, so you have to be a caster of some sort, right? Yep. Studying occult lore, you have unlocked Eldritch power within yourself. You earn one Eldritch invocation option of your choice from the Warlock class. If the invocation has a prerequisite, you can choose that invocation only if you're a Warlock and only if you meet the prerequisite. Whenever you gain a level, you can place the invocation with another one from the Warlock class. This one is super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This is essentially Artificer Initiate, but for something more useful.
Yeah. Well, no, this is just powerful for Warlocks.
It's powerful for Warlocks. It's also powerful for non-Warlocks. Invocations, just period, are very strong.
Yeah.
So having access to them is super good. It's like if you're a rogue, for instance, there are invocations specifically for like.
Well, you have to have. Well, you would have to be the Arcane Trickster, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. That's something that you'd probably be going for anyway if you want a semi-magical rogue.
Right. But I see this as like, again, variant. I always default to variant humans because there's more humans than anything else. Variant human taking this at first level as any kind of caster and being able to cast Detect Magic or just have Eldritch Sight all the time. Like I have Detect Magic fucking all the time. Well,
that would be nice.
That's so annoying. It's so annoying.
It's good that it's just one invocation. If it was like two, that would be fucking overpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a Warlock. Like, there's plenty of times where you're like, I want this one too. Right? Like, you want to, and this just gives you that extra. I think this one is, so far, this and Chef are my two favorite right now.
Yeah.
Like, those are, Eldritch Adept and Chef I really like.
Yeah, and I think they're two different feats. I think the, Chef is better for role playing, and Eldritch Adept is better for role playing, right? Combat.
Yeah.
Combat.
Well, I mean, many invocations also work very hardcore for role play stuff. So
some of them. Some of them do.
On what invocation you're picking. Like, it's very varied. It's very versatile. Super useful just on its own. Makes you a warlock who can be better at doing warlock stuff, or any other spellcaster who wants to be.
I hate to tell you this, but if Mark lets me use this, Sarani is picking this one up and taking a Cloak of Flies just because it goes with.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
I'm just Cloak of Flies because that's my person. Fey Touched, your exposure to the Feywild.
Oh, this one is fucking nutty.
Increase your int, wisdom, or charisma. Okay, well, fine. I'm a caster. That's good. You earn Misty Step and one first level spell of your choice. In case it's without spell, you can cast it.
It has to be from Divination or Enchantment. Yeah.
From Divination or Enchantment. You can cast each of these without spending a spell slot. So you get Misty Step and another first level spell for free once a long rest.
And you can cast either one of them for free. And you know them, so you can also use spell slots for those spells still, too. And I'll tell you, Misty Step is one of the most useful spells in the entirety of the book.
Oh, they put a caveat. Read that last line. The spellcasting ability is the ability increased by this feat. So you don't get to choose. Yeah,
but you got wisdom, charisma, or intelligence that you can up, so.
Right, but you have the spellcasting ability is the one increased by this feat. So you get any.
To be entirely fair, that applies to the first level spell, and I don't really care about that. Like, that's useful. Don't get me wrong. It's useful to have an extra first level spell from either divination or enchantment. There's a lot of useful spells on that list.
Well, no, but I'm saying whichever list you pick, if you pick one that's a mage spell, your intelligence goes up by one. If you pick one that's I
was thinking. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking that the way that is what it's talking about is if you take a spell that has a save, right?
No,
then
it's the spellcasting ability. Yeah, see, it says the spellcasting ability is the ability increased by this feat. So whichever,
right.
So if you take
so if I choose a wizard spell, but I chose charisma to go up, and that wizard spell becomes a charisma thing.
No, that's not how that's not it's actually the opposite. If you take a bard spell, a sorcerer spell, or a warlock off of one of the bard, warlock, or sorcerer, your charisma goes up. If you take wizard, your intelligence goes up, and if you take druid or cleric, your wisdom goes up.
That is not what this says.
Yeah, it says the spellcasting ability is the ability increased by this feat.
Okay, so the way that this feat works, as far as how I'm reading it, and it doesn't seem to indicate any differently. Firstly, choose intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. That goes up by 1. So I choose that. Goes up by 1. So I choose a wisdom spell. I choose wisdom. It goes up by 1. I take a first level spell as well as Misty Step. Say that first level spell is from the fucking wizard spell list. Because the ability increased by this feat was wisdom, then the spellcasting ability for the spell that I picked turns into wisdom. That is how it reads.
Actually, it's worded really stupidly. Is what it is. That's it.
Yeah, the wording's very vague.
The way I read it is exactly how Thorium says it. If you choose to up your charisma by 1, then Misty Step and the first level spell, your charisma is your spellcasting ability for those spells.
Right, but you can see how, like, if I read that, if my player handed me this, that's what I would tell them. Like, that's
the wording.
The wording is bad. It should say. It should say whenever you cast this spell, the spellcasting ability, because the spellcasting ability.
If it said the spellcasting ability is determined by the ability increased by this speed, then that would be a little bit clearer.
That would be yes. That is the one increased by this. That's what it is. Paladins can take this.
Yeah, paladins can take this.
Yeah, any class can take this. There's no prerequisite.
Oh, paladins would be fun with this.
Yeah, paladins with Misty Step.
Misty Step.
No, a rogue with Misty Step.
Oh, that bust. That's all right.
Really, imagine just having a martial class with Misty Step.
Yeah,
it doesn't say that you need to have magic in order to use this. You just have.
Yeah,
it just says you just get these two.
Yes, that's.
Oh, I just got one of my player characters is a chef now.
Yeah. When you hit 3rd level, Piper, you sure can, Dio.
But I would say Fey Touch is ridiculously good as a feat.
Oh yeah, I think it is too. Fighting initiative.
I give it a solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's close to being a 5. I would give it a 4.5.
The only reason is because you just get okay.
You just get Misty
Step. It's more
useful
useful if you're a spellcaster because it gives you those spells that you can then use for spell slots. It's not as useful if you're a martial class or anything like that because you can essentially just use those once.
Well, yeah, but using those once, if you take Misty Step and Annie
Shield.
I
don't think that would count on for divination or enchantment. Actually, I think shield is enchantment. I
don't know. Whichever, even regardless, I can see a rogue using this so effectively. I mean, that one time you need to really be behind that guy. I've given everybody
upper tier. Here's the thing: it's not Sentinel. All right.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Sentinel is primo facie. One of the strongest feats in the game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's
that and Spell Sniper. I think those two. Useful. I think Sentinel and Spell Sniper are the 2 best feats that you can take.
It's very useful, and I love it. And I'm not saying that there's anything bad about it.
But that's what I said. I would give it a 4.5. You would give it a 4.
Yeah, right? I think a 4 is fair for me. If you want to give it a 4.5, we'll just agree to disagree on that.
I think it's close. What do you think? What do you think?
Then you get a feat like Lucky, which is just that's off the charts.
That shouldn't be used.
That's overpowered even. I don't even know if you should allow Lucky as a feat.
I don't if I don't have to be honest. I think it's game breaking for a certain extent.
Free rerolls on whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's Jesus.
This one, Fighting Initiate, meh.
I love this. Okay, so let me explain why I love this one. So your martial training has helped you to develop a particular style of fighting, and as a result, you learn one fighting style option of your choice in the fighter class. If you already have the style, the one you choose must be different. Whenever you gain a level, you can replace this feat's fighting style with another one from the fighter class that you don't have. So both of these put together. If you are someone, martial classes always feel very samey once you establish your style. When you become a fighter, or when you become a second level rogue, ranger, or when you become a paladin, you pick a fighting style, and then you're stuck with that until either you multi-class into one of the other ones with a fighting style, or
you die.
You don't, and then you're stuck with the one that you have. And there's multiple fighting styles that can all be useful put together.
Yeah.
Let's say you have protection and mariner and two weapon fighting. Right, and then of course you can get another feat for shield master so that you can bash people with your shield and stuff. So I have extra AC, in medium armor. I have a swimming speed. I mean, and as well as another AC as a result of that. And then I'm able to two weapon fight with my sword and my shield as a bonus action, mashing people, whilst also increasing the damage I do with that. I do damage with my shield now. All of these. Together.
Well,
but being able to combine 3 different fighting styles by level 12.
By
level,
it's
you
12.
can do it way earlier.
No, because you can only take this once.
No, you can only take this once. Yes, but you can also multi-class, right?
Right. Well, yeah, but again, we had this discussion up earlier where multi-classing. I look at feats where you don't have to have another feat to make it work, or you don't have to specialize. You don't have to jump classes.
Certainly.
Yeah. Fighters,
even just going as a fighter, or just going as a rogue. If you're a rogue, you don't get a fighting style.
Right.
But if you dual wield as a rogue, boom, fighting initiate. Now I have 2 weapon fighting.
Yeah. No. That's fine. I just don't. I don't find it as particular because, like Thorium said, what you're talking about is being able to replace it. That's already allowed by the 2019 Unearthed Arcana, called Martial Versatility.
Right. I'm more talking about being able to stack more fighting styles on top of each other. That's super good.
Yeah.
Super good. Like, not even kind of close to not being useful. Now, look, I'm not saying it's as good as Fae Touched. I'm just saying that as somebody who specializes in martial classes and has been maining martial classes since he started playing D&D fucking 15 years ago, this is nice and allows a lot of versatility that you don't usually have.
I mean, personally, I would take defense and shield, but protection.
Yeah, defense and protection.
Yeah.
Defense and protection put together, super strong.
Yeah,
pick
up Sentinel as your feat and go on about your business where nobody can get near you. Right?
Just picking this up gives you extra AC, essentially.
Yeah.
As well as other uses that maybe your fighting style has.
We're going to skip Gunner because I don't know of a single DM that allows firearms in their...
I do. Provided that my players say that they want a more higher tech world.
This one...
I don't mind.
The problem I see with this one is that third one. You ignore the loading property of firearms. That's way too powerful. This one's pushed.
Yeah. Way too powerful.
Yeah.
Ignoring the loading property of firearms is super ridiculous. Okay, I get the idea because when you watch somebody who just fires like a pistol and they're like super trained in being able to quick reload, like the reload is so fucking fluid it happens within like even half of a second. I get that idea. So if the
but
idea
not the
is,
muzzle loader.
No.
Yeah.
And to be fair, most firearms that exist in any D&D session are not going to be like a pistol that we have right now.
Yeah.
It's not a Beretta.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking 6-shooter or something like that.
Hey Jess, how you doing? We're just going over these new feats. I think this one is pushed. I think it's add your dex so it's easier for you to hit. You don't have to worry about hostile creatures being imposing disadvantage when they're within you, and you ignore the loading property.
Okay, if they were to either get rid of being within 5 feet doesn't impose disadvantage or ignoring the loading property, I think it'd be balanced.
Yeah, but it also gives you
that proficiency, which is really nice.
Yeah,
because there's very few ways of getting that proficiency outside of like being a fighter and using supplements, or being an artificer.
I think this next one is really powerful and too pushed. I think this one goes with Fey Touched.
This one is really strong.
Yeah. You've learned how to exert your will on your spells to alter how they function. You gain the following benefits. You learn 2 meta magic options of your choice from the sorcerer class. You're going to use only 1 meta magic option on a spell when you cast it, unless the option says otherwise, which is what everybody else has to do. And whenever you gain a level, you can replace it, which everybody else gets to do. And you get 2 sorcery points. These are added to any sorcery points you have from another source, but can only be used on meta magic.
There's already a feat that gives you sorcery points, isn't there?
No.
Okay, so this is the only one that'll do
This
that.
is the only one that boosts them.
If this is the only one that boosts your sorcery points, I think this is fine. I think it's balanced, in my opinion.
The problem I have is when you start allowing other classes, like it's like the Eldritch Invocation one, which is pushed, like it's close to being a 5. When you start letting other classes take away the special ability, when you let other characters take away the special ability of a class, it feels bad to me, right? Like, this is really, like, meta magic is what makes a sorcerer better than a mage, right? Better than a wizard. Like, that's just that's it, right? If you're going to play a spellcaster, play a wizard unless you want to be able to twin your spells, right? Letting a mage or, a warlock or a druid or a cleric do this, it's really, really powerful. I mean, being able to...
It is, and I agree with that. I would say, think of it from the sorcerer's perspective as well, because the sorcerer can also take this, right? So that's an extra 2 sorcery points. You don't get that many sorcery points as a sorcerer for a very long time. So that extra 2 is like a big fucking boon up for you.
Right,
as
and you get 2 more, metamagic options, which is fine. And I think that would be fine.
Which essentially spans all the metamagic options.
Well, no, they added like 4 more. They added like 4 more in the Unearthed.
Oh, okay.
Stuff.
They added more of them. All right.
Yeah, they added more, which are actually really good. 2 of them are really, really good. You can use your sorcery points to give yourself temporary hit points.
Elemental spell, seeking spell, and unerring spell. Yeah. Okay, so so you automatically get 2 metamagics as a 3rd level sorcerer to begin with, and then you grab this and you get 2 more metamagics that you can use, which then increases your versatility, like relatively speaking, fivefold. Like just the ability to use different stuff in that fashion to that degree. Yeah. So your sorcery points at level 4 are only 4, so you get 6.
But you can only use these 2 on metamagic. You can use the other ones to transfer into some more spell slots, which is what makes the sorcerer, which is what balances the sorcerer and the wizard between the 2. The wizard gets more spells and can cast more spells. The wizard doesn't get a lot of spells, but they can cast them more often. This kind of pushes that in both spots. I think it's super powerful, but I think it's a bad feat. I think it's a badly designed feat, and I dislike it a lot.
Yeah,
I personally like it. I don't think sorcerers are going to feel like they have their toes stepped on, because as you said, the sorcery points can only be used on the metamagics in the first place. It's not like they can use those 2 extra sorcery points to restore a spell slot like sorcerers can, or any of the other ways in which sorcerers can use sorcery points. So it's they're only really able to use the
when I can as a cleric, when I can healing word someone and then cast mass healing word as quickened, I don't think that just seems pushed for me. You know what I mean? Like that's it gets.
To be fair, you'd already be able to do that if you were like a multi-classed sorcerer into a cleric anyway.
Yeah, but you don't have to multi-class. Here, I'm not losing anything. I'm not losing any of my spell progression as a cleric. There, I lose. You make there's a huge cost to dip into another class, right? Especially as a caster, you lose those. Next spell slots. You lose that next thing.
But you can only do that once a long rest anyway.
Yeah, but still,
it would be an emergency situation sort of thing if you were to use it in that fashion.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have a problem with other classes being able to do what other classes can do to a lesser extent, because this doesn't make any other caster class any more potent than the sorcerer, especially since the sorcerer can take this anyway and make themselves more potent as a result. So I don't think it's an issue personally. I would still give it. Now I think it's strong. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 personally.
Yeah. Strong, I think it's strong as something that I care for. I think it's going to get a basic 3 from me because I'm dinging it. I'm dinging it because of my personal belief of before. Piercer, too powerful. We're just gonna skip it. I don't even want. I don't even want anybody who uses a bow to see this. This is so stupid. Increase your strength and dex by 1. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals piercing damage, you can reroll one of the attack's damage dice, and you must use the new roll. Who cares? When you crit piercing, you can roll another damage die.
I like it.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
When you crit, you can roll an extra damage die.
Huh.
Yeah, because the elven archers aren't fucking powerful enough, right?
No, they're not.
Yeah. Oh, no. Machine Gun Kelly is not like... Yeah, I'm rolling. What are you rolling? Well, I get advantage on everybody that doesn't get to go before me. I'm going to shoot him. It's going to be a crit. I get advantage, so I get to roll 3. I get to roll 3 dice. Oh, yeah, that's a crit too. All right, well, we'll just double the damage. Like, it's... And then add an extra die. Right? You roll an extra die damage.
Listen, I'll tell you, I think that this isn't even all that strong, all things considered. Again, this is one of those that, like, hey, most of the usefulness comes out of whether or not you'll be able to hit a crit, which isn't going to be
most of the sorry. Most of the usefulness is your dex goes up by 1, which has the potential to raise your bonus to hit. And then the once per turn, beginning to re-roll your damage dice. Now, granted, you probably will get about the same as you rolled before. However, being able to re-roll 1s and 2s once a turn.
Oh, so are we going to get rid of Great Weapon Fighter now?
Huh?
Are we going to get rid of the Great Weapon Fighting style now? Because it allows you to re-roll 1s and 2s?
No, I think Great Weapon Fighter is bad.
Oh, okay.
No, I
like that.
I think that's bad. I think that it should be like it was. The problem I have is again where you and I differ. This feat, when you're looking at the overall class construction, the character construction, and you have Piercer and Sharpshooter, and
this is just a way for martial classes to still be on par with casters to a certain degree.
Right. So here's the other problem. That crit damage at the bottom, you think that doesn't matter very much, but if I'm a rogue, I'm critting fucking everybody. And then I'm adding an extra dice on top of
an assassin rogue specifically.
Well, why wouldn't you be an assassin? I get to go first.
It only works on the first turn.
No, I get a crit almost all the time.
It's on surprised enemies that you get that automatic crit. They're not surprised on the second round.
Yeah, but I have advantage on everybody who goes after me.
Yeah, sure, but rogues also don't get the extra attack feature.
They don't need it. They're dual wielding. Or is it
exactly. They attack once, and then that attack is super strong.
Right.
And that's good. This allows it to be super strong.
Right. This allows it to be extra super strong because they're already doing a D6 plus a D6 plus 3D6 plus now double all those dice and then add an extra dice to it. I mean, that's...
It just reminds me of 3.5.
It's more useful on a ranged ranger, in my opinion.
Huh?
It's more useful on a ranged ranger than it would be on a rogue.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't think that it's that strong. I think you're overhyping it, to be entirely honest with you. I think it's good, and I would give it a 3.5.
Thorium said he's going to take his sling, crusher, and piercer and just use a sling bullet, take crusher and a sling and just knock people back with his tiny little rocks. Poisoner, kind of useless except for the first one. Ignore resistance to poison.
Ignoring resistance to poison is super crazy good.
Yeah.
Holy heck. Yeah, another way to make barbarians less useful.
Yeah. Yeah. Ignore resistance to poison. Yeah, that's you can code it as a bonus action and
Instead of an action, which is that's super good.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand like the level of usefulness that is.
I know, but the problem is the DC 14 con save is bad. Like, it doesn't scale. This is the only thing that's useful in later levels.
You can make other poisons, though. That it's not just for that one poison you can make as a result of the feat. There's more poisons you can make. And then you can apply all of those poisons as bonus actions instead of as actions. So
I'm just going off the feat itself. You can use an hour, spend 50 gold worth of materials, and create a number of doses of potent poison equal to your proficiency bonus. Once applied, it lasts for a minute or until used.
This is nice because oftentimes you're not going to fight a lot of things that you can like harvest poisons from, or poison material from. So having a regular poison that you can regularly use without having to be like, are we fighting something that has poison that I can potentially get some poison out of? Like, no, you aren't, but you can make your own poison now without having to worry about it.
And I would be okay, but giving it 3 bullet points that are all that powerful, get rid of the resistance or the coat and the bonus action, and I would be much better.
I'd say get rid of the ignoring resistance. I would say that, yes.
Yeah, like one
There's
of those.
There's no reason for that. Why?
No. If
they're resistant to poison, there's a reason they're resistant to poison. What am I making a special poison that makes people who are resistant to poison not resistant to that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's, I'm not good with that.
If they got rid of ignoring resistance to poison damage, it's a very fine feat, and I love it.
This is too powerful. This is just wrong. Practice expert is garbage. An extra skill.
Let's go over that real quick. Oh yeah, it's
garbage. It's garbage. It's literal garbage.
If I wanted to get another skill or tool proficiency twice, then I just multi-class into Bard or something. Like I can get way more.
Just rogue. Like 1 level of rogue, 2 levels of rogue, pick up expertise, and you're off to the races. Right? You just like there's no reason to waste an entire feat. It's
you don't get that many feats. I'm not going to waste it on getting an extra skill or an expertise in something.
And a tool.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't feel like it's that phenomenal.
No, I don't. This is like a 1.
This is an easy like 2 out of 5 for me.
Shadow Touch, not as cool as Fey Touch, I don't think.
Darkness is less useful in my opinion than Misty Step, but it's still a very solid spell.
It is, but I can only see this on like a Shadow Sorcerer or somebody that has
or Shadow Monk.
A Shadow Monk or the Dark Sight invocation. Like, I mean, you could take Shadow Touch in the Eldritch Adept and pick up Dark Sight, and then you could see in the darkness that you cast, which is fine.
But then, of course, you would already have access to casting darkness anyway.
Right.
So this basically just gives you an extra free casting of it.
Right. So that's fine, but I don't see this as this is a 3. Like,
yeah, this is a 3. I agree.
Yeah. Shield training.
Not as good, honestly, as Shield Master.
No,
in my opinion. No. It's not terrible. I mean, giving the ability for mages to have an extra 2 AC, so that they can like have a shield when they cast. That's not bad.
Yeah, but
it's not bad, but it's not great.
But I would take the hit. I would take tough over this at 4th level. If I had the choice between two to my AC and 6 hit points, I'll take the 6 hit points all day. Right? Mm-hmm. That's just
plus the extra 2 per level. Yeah.
There's no way this armor class at 6. Once you hit 6th and 7th level, armor class just goes away. Like, it just shouldn't even be a stat, right?
Yeah, most things that are like CR 9 and above are going to hit you regardless.
Yeah,
like the very little.
I have a 57. I mean, it makes it if you're the human variant and you want to use this as a sorcerer to survive the 6th level, that's fine. Right.
And if you would like to combine shield training with shield mastery so that you have an effective like evasion spell as a mage, phenomenal, that's great. But again, that's having to combine it with other feats in order to make it more useful.
Well, no, I mean you can use this in the shield spell and not get hit. But shield normally does that as it is, right?
Yeah, shield's usually sufficient. If you can if you can't shield something with a reaction and it's still going to hit you, chances are good that extra 2 is not going to do a whole hell of a lot for you anyway.
No.
But it's still, I would say it's still somewhat useful. I'm not going to say it's like bad in any particular fashion. I would give it I'm middling between 3 and 3.5.
I think it's like a 2 at best. Like that's just,
the 2 AC is nice at the very least in the beginning, which is where most games spend most of their time.
Yeah, I can give it a 3. I'll be fine and give it a 3. Slasher, we have another one of those.
It's another weapon feat specifically for slashing weapons this time.
And reducing their speed by 10 feet. That can be helpful. Again, this is one of those where you and I differ on combat.
I think reducing speed by 10 feet is fine, but if I'm going to be reducing someone's speed, Sentinel, reduce it to 0.
Right, but this is anytime. But this is the thing, is I can reduce it by 10 feet, and then they can't get to the mage, and then when they try to wait, like if you have this and Sentinel, but I like this because the 10 feet, this is fine with me as opposed to the 5 feet of knocking them back, reducing their speed by 10 feet, because once per turn you basically get, when you hit, because you already have to hit, this is basically Ray of Frost, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what Ray of Frost does, so you basically get a cantrip. Or no, Ray of Frost is first level? Yeah, this is, reducing their speed by 10 feet is something that cantrips and stuff do. I'm okay with boosting my strength and my dex, being able to reduce their speed by 10 feet, and then on the off chance that I get a crit, they have disadvantage on attack rolls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the best one that we've seen. I don't think any of them are really good, but when putting it against.
Problem is that it's too good.
Well, no, I mean in terms of balance. Like in terms of balance, I think Crusher is like a 2. I think Piercer is like a 4. I think this fits somewhere in the 3 category where it's fine. Again, like I see taking this more like a monk.
Yeah, well, a monk that uses like a Kensai monk that specializes in slashing weapons and stuff. I don't know. It's a little niche. That's kind of my problem with most of these.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. I think it's to give people who use slashing weapons a thing to do, and people who use crushing weapons a thing to do. When it's
and I guess to be fair, crushing weapons don't get a lot of love.
No, they
just don't. There's
not a lot of stuff. Take Great Weapon Master with your maul and move on about yourself, right? There's nothing else for it, right?
And like a great that's
usually
it's just better to go with a great sword.
Yeah,
like great swords are better in terms of what's available to boost their abilities and damage and capabilities. Yeah, and it's just why would you ever get a great axe? Or a great maul when you can get a great sword. So having some stuff for them, I can understand the idea of wanting to make some stuff for them, but I don't know. It's not phenomenal.
Because Fell-Handed with Crusher. So Fell-Handed gives you Hand Axe, Battle Axe, Great Axe, Warhammer, and Maul. +1 bonus to attack. Whenever you have advantage and you make a hit, you can knock it prone. When you have disadvantage on melee attack, the target takes.
I guess that's why they didn't make Crusher it knocks them prone, because they have Fell-Handed for that.
Yeah, but it only works for Hand Axe, Battle Axe, Great Axe, Warhammer, and Maul.
Right, instead of all the other blunt weapons that you could potentially get.
Yeah, so this is like the next. So if you combine again, we're throwing in multiple feats to build your knocking back 5 feet, hit him prone. Now if you're a Bugbear Barbarian using a Warhammer, you have a reach of 10 feet. So
you automatically get reach as a Bugbear, so that's nice to have.
I think this next one, I think Tandem Tactician is a great feat. I think this is
redundant. I mean, it can be good depending on who you are. Again, this is one of those niche feats. Adding 10 feet to the help action can be good, but you can already kind of use the help action in a lot of ways anyway, and usually people only use the help action outside of combat. Right. But I think this feat is to try to push that more, because I'm a big fan of using help
during my turn if you can't do anything else. But the problem is you have to be standing next to them, right? Now the mage can go, well, I'm out of spells, or I don't want to run up there. The fighter looks like he's got it. I'm standing 10 feet behind him. I can help him, right? I can go, nah, 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 and, you know, or help with the, Thorim said it, Tandem Tactician creates an interesting attack with stack with Mastermind Rogue.
Yeah, because Mastermind Rogue already gives you an increased range to your help action. So this but
you can use this as a help. But the best part of this is as a bonus action, which means that your barbarian can now has, you know, economy of action, right?
Yeah. Aside from raging, barbarians don't have bonus actions, so giving them something to do is nice. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. Well, I feel like this is a 3 in my opinion. I think help is a very niche thing to do.
I think it's better. I think it's better because the help gives you advantage on attack rolls, correct?
Yeah, but you can just flank for that.
Well, a lot of games that I play, the 2 games that I play in, we don't have flanking. Because flanking,
that's your DM's fault.
Well, it's an it is an optional rule, right? So it's not a full blown rule in 5th edition. It's an optional rule, and there is a lot of problems. People talk about how advantages should, you know, what's the best thing for flanking? You know, is it the plus to bonus? I mean, if you watch some DMs, it's a plus to attack. If you know, like my game, it's only advantage on the first attack. With this, if you're playing just the base rules and I pick up this feat, I can my barbarian can hit you. Bonus action help the rogue on his turn, and he gets advantage on the attack, which means he's automatically going to get.
Yeah, but again, that's only for games that don't use flanking, and most games I play in, we use flanking. Even your game, we use flanking.
Oh yeah, because I use flanking, but there's a lot of DMs that don't.
All right, well, I feel like a DM that doesn't use flanking, like, that's just a whole nother issue. Every game I run and every game I've ever been in uses flanking to some degree.
Yeah.
Even non-5e games we use flanking.
Yeah.
Like it's always been there, and I've never seen people.
But the help action.
For those that don't, I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. Help as a bonus action is good. Like William said, 40 feet. You get 40 feet helping 2 people.
Yeah. For the Mastermind Rogue, this would be something you would definitely take.
Yeah.
For everybody else, super niche.
Yeah. And then Tracker. Hey, look, I get Hunter's Mark.
I get Hunter's Mark and I get advantage on checks to track people. There needs to be something more here.
Yeah.
I need something else on top of this. I would love for, like, tracking to be a big thing.
Right.
How about, like, it's not just that I have advantage on wisdom to track creatures. How about I have advantage on knowing what the creature is? How about I have advantage on nature checks to identify creatures as well?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm upset that this doesn't have. This is the same as the Fade Touch, the Shadow Touch, and all the other ones, but there's no spellcasting requirement. First of all, and you get Hunter's Mark, but nothing else. That's it. You just get Hunter's Mark. Cool.
And you can only cast it once.
Yeah.
A long range.
You can also cast a spell using any spell slots you have, which the problem is Hunter's Mark is a concentration. So what else are you going to do? You can't use it. You can't use it to double Hunter's Mark something, right? You can't use it to hex.
To be clear, Hunter's Mark is a super useful spell when you're able to use it as a bonus action and such.
Right.
There needs to be something else added onto this before it's actually useful.
Yeah, this is not useful. Like I said, you can't cast Hex and Hunter's Mark, which is something I would, think would be like if the Hunter's Mark that you got to cast didn't require concentration, I would say this would be okay. You cast Hunter's Mark once and without expending a spell slot, and it doesn't require concentration. That would make this and you can just get rid of that advantage on survival checks at the bottom. You just take that.
No, because then that would take away from the purpose of the thing, which is to make it so the tracking is a little bit easier. I would love to take this for Jacobi, for instance, but it's just not useful enough in comparison to most other feats that he could take.
Right.
So
there's it doesn't do anything for you. This is another one of those. This has the same feel as the Artificer at the front.
Effectively, it would give me one extra usage of Hunter's Mark, and it would give me advantage on tracking rolls, which is not. It's not good enough.
No,
there needs to be more.
Yeah, there's not, and giving you a Wisdom score, so your tracking is better anyway. Like, which one is it? You want advantage, or you want a bonus to your Wisdom score? Like,
I wouldn't mind taking both, because honestly, like, Wisdom isn't really used for that much for most classes. But I mean, it's good for like perception and tracking and those sorts of skills. It's just 1 point, right? So unless you're at an odd number, it's not going to even increase it that much. But it's
I feel like
to be fair, the usual time that you would take +1 feat.
Yeah, I feel like they bookend these feats with 2 really shitty feats, right? Yeah. Like the Artificer and the Tracker.
If I take a feat and the feat's name is Tracker, I want to be an awesome fucking tracker. This doesn't give me that.
Yeah, this doesn't do anything. Like the actually Practice Expert is better than Tracker for that, because you get expertise.
You could just get expertise in survival.
Yeah, expertise,
and then be able to use it for more than just tracking.
Yeah, that's just like and Practice Expert sucks. So like, oh well, we wanted it to not suck too bad, so we gave you 1 use of Hunter's Mark. Like,
it's just you can do away with the Hunter's Mark. Give me some other stuff.
Yeah.
Give me advantage on nature rolls to know what the fuck I'm.
How many creatures in which direction?
Give me advantage on perception versus beast types or something like that.
Yeah.
Give me advantage on being able to find layers. Give me all that stuff. That would be good.
Yeah. This is just not good at all. Like, this is so bad. Yeah, that's I can't see, like, I can't honestly think of a time I would take this feat.
There's not as it's written. No, I can't think of it.
Because I was thinking, like, you can't use it as a barbarian because it's a concentration spell.
Yeah.
Druids have
the only exception to this is the bonus action Hunter's Mark you get as a spellless ranger. But that's as your variant, and that's really the only time that you don't need to use concentration for it. But even then, this wouldn't necessarily stack with those. It would be another Hunter's Mark that you would then need to use concentration for.
Yeah,
and that would be annoying.
Yeah, it'd be useless. The spellcasters aren't going to use it because my concentration.
Because they got other spells that can do more. Like it's just it's not that useful.
Yeah, I can't.
The concentration. You
okay. So wait, let me rephrase that. I can think of one class that would use it just for the Hunter's Mark, and that would be a rogue.
Yeah, to get an extra D6 on top of your D6s for your.
Yeah, once per day, basically. I can really like for boss fights, right? Here's the big boss fight for the day. Hunter's Mark.
You'd have to be a ranged rogue for this to be effective.
No,
because you can't be dual wielding and using this because it's a fucking bonus action to utilize it.
Well, no, you Hunter's Mark him on the first turn, and then
and then you get one attack, and then Well, to be fair, like again, you want to be able to blow your load, so to speak, on your first turn. You don't want to have to spend a bunch of time setting up.
Oh, believe me, I've got, I'm just saying that's about the only thing I can think of. Like, I'm trying to give this a shot, and the only thing I can think of is maybe a rogue uses it for a boss fight. Like,
so that's extra 1d6 on top of what they already have.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, an extra 1d6, wow.
Actually,
it's not phenomenal.
Actually, a paladin might use it. Because they don't have a lot of concentration spells that...
A fighter might use it. I mean, with as many attacks as they get.
Yeah, but you only get to hit them.
Or a monk. I can see a monk using it for extra d6s on all their attacks.
Yeah, it's just like, but that's just once.
Again, it is just once.
If it gave you the ability to, I don't see it. Like, I can't find it anywhere. When we're talking niche, I can find some niche uses for it, and they're really rough. I don't see the push for that one. That one seems really bad. Like,
Yeah.
But I do what. So overall, I think we gave most of them somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Which is
Honestly, Tracker, I'd probably give a 1.5.
yeah.
Honestly.
Well, yeah. I meant average, because we do have some that are
low end.
yeah. I think that some of them are pushed. I think that some of them aren't reliable. But what I can say is that I'm really heartened by the fact that they're continuing to try to do this, right? That Wizards is taking our advice through playtesting and through our suggestions and trying to put more stuff into the game, right? Give us these options, let us play with them, and then give them their feedback, right? I do appreciate the fact that they keep giving us this kind of stuff.
Having more options is always good. Having the options be good is something that they need to work on.
Right.
There's only maybe about 3 of these that I would say are like super good and like would change how I would build my characters right now.
Right.
The rest of them are just kind of like whatever, or they're not even whatever. They're just bad.
Right. But I do appreciate the fact that they're trying. Right.
Yeah.
That they're putting forth an effort. They're like, okay, we'll see. Because I understand that there's balancing issues. I understand that. Believe me, I understand that there's balancing issues. The problem I have with new feats as opposed to new subclasses, which I would prefer, right? I would always take a new subclass over a new list of feats, right?
Yeah, there's already enough feats as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Because feats are not gained as fast as they were in 3.5. Now, in 3.5, like if these feats were all available in 3.5, I'd burn your campaign to the ground as a straight class fighter.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I would. I would just using because I've always said in 3.5, everybody always asked me what I thought was the most powerful class that you could ever build. Straight class human fighter.
Mm-hmm.
1 to 20, you're never going, because it doesn't matter what I'm using I have access to 21 feats at 20th level. You're not going to beat me.
But at the same time, the feats were just so much less in 3.5. That's one of the big things when it comes to 5e is that the feats actually feel like feats.
Right.
Whereas in 3.5, you needed to take 4 feats in order to get 1 useful feat. You know?
Yeah, but when you start stacking on cleave, improved cleave, superior cleave, then you pick up your specialty class at the or what was it, your
To be
kit.
entirely clear, you can break 3.5 with just about fucking anything.
Oh, yeah.
Even all the shit that they released.
Yeah.
You can make a monk that could fly and shoot lightning out of his ass.
Yeah, you could, but I'm just saying, like, if you just took a straight class fighter and didn't even take a kit, you were fine, right? You were just okay. Like, what are you? I'm a fighter. Well, no, what kind of fighter? Just a fighter. Okay. Yeah, but I don't need to spend any of my basic attacks to attack everybody in this row because I have improved superior, greater cleave, right? Just whack.
Whirlwind attack. You eventually get whirlwind attack, and you wouldn't even have to worry about having the fucking cleaves.
Well, no, you need the cleaves. You always need cleave. I mean, don't
You
get
don't
me wrong.
necessarily, not if you have whirlwind.
Yeah, because every time when you take your 3 attacks with whirlwind attack, you take your first attack with whirlwind attack, and then everybody that you trigger cleave off of, you get a free cleave. And then you can move another 5 feet. Or, with improved greater cleave, you can move up to your movement. Because,
I don't know. It kind of depends on the way in which you're fucking playing your fighter, personally. Cleave is good. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. There's instances where I can see whirlwind attack being more useful than even, like, improved greater cleave.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I have whirlwind attack. I'm just saying that if you run up on me and enter my attack trigger my attack of opportunity, which I get like 7 of, and I hit you with my weapon and I beat your armor class by 5, I get to keep moving and do it. It was just dumb. The straight class fighter.
3.5 became fucking retarded, like super quick.
Yes, and that's just. But this, like I said, I would rather have subclasses because I think Xanthar's Guide, I think, is one of the best books they've put out. To be fair, like, because of the diversity of those classes, those subclasses, the diversity of those subclasses. When you look at your player's handbook and then you pick up Xanthar's, you're like, wow, that's a lot of stuff that I can choose from. And then when you look at the multi-classing, that's fairly simple, right? It's not anywhere near as hard as it used to be. And you look at that stacking subclasses, because I don't even think about the class personally. I think about subclasses, right? Like, which subclass goes with which subclass. Like, fighter, I can be any kind of fighter, and I can be any kind of rogue, but which fighter kind do I want that goes with the kind of rogue that I want to be, right? So, these feats, while I'm happy they're putting them out and they're trying, I would really wish they would spend more time on subclasses. Give us more options. Give us more options as a class, right? Let my barbarian do more things, or let my barbarian be different than your barbarian, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the problem we had when we were playtesting and when the player's handbook came out. Nobody was taking I have yet to see anybody. If you just have the player's handbook, the DMG, and the monster manual, nobody ever takes the frenzied barbarian. Nobody. Everybody's a bear barbarian. Why? Well, because I have resistance to everything but psychic damage. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, you mean you can't kill me with that lightning bolt now? Nope. Okay, I'll sign me up. Right?
Having some things just objectively be better in every situation than other things is like, I don't know. It's definitely a big problem that they need to work on.
Yeah. Like I said, I would much rather see more subclasses than feats, because, like you said, I think we have enough feats, and there's a glut of for as many feats as we have access to, there's not enough spaces for us to use them. You know what I mean? Like, you would get, if you're not a human, you get 5 if you make it to 20th level, right? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Yeah, you get 5 feats. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Too many feats? Not enough feats? What would you rate this list of feats? We decided to give it an easy 3 for...
Yeah, 3 overall out of 5, I guess, is fair enough. Some feats can be 2 for 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like we talked about, Chef is just good on its own. It's perfectly fine. No tweaks needed. Eldritch Adept and Meta Magic Adept,
fine.
Those are like really good.
Fate Touch and Piercer, I think, are awesome. Like, I think those. I think that Chef and Fate Touch are the 2 most powerful. I think Piercer is pushed.
Nerfed.
Huh?
Gunner needs nerfed. At least one of the bottom 2 of it needs to be taken away, and then it would be fine. Fighting Initiate, I personally love. Poisoner
needs
take the resistance thing away.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that, like, for the most part, and it goes to show where we're at as a community, where you and I see things differently, like the fighter feats, right? The weapon skills.
Yeah. I don't like Crusher. Piercer, I think, is fine. But you can get better feats for piercing for if you want to like use a bow.
Yeah, sharpshooter,
in my opinion.
But I think that's for people who aren't rangers. I think it's for the non-ranged people. is what it's for.
I guess, but even then, like, why? I don't know, because you can, if you're a ranged fighter, for instance, then you can still get archery, and then you would still benefit from getting sharpshooter.
Right.
I don't know.
But if you're not ranged, well, you know what I'm saying. Like, if you're not ranged, piercer.
Okay, so if you're using regular piercing weapons, like in hand, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably other stuff that doesn't really come to mind, like off the top of my head, that might be better.
Yeah.
But it would be. I mean,
I think these are. I think like I was saying earlier, I think a lot of these are designed to be used with other feats. I think they're designed to stack with other feats as a fighter.
If that's what they're doing, then I don't know. I think that's a bad way to go about it.
Yeah, I would prefer a subclass that does similar things and just stack these kind of things into them. But I like, if you're going to specialize in, 2 melee hammers, because, you do. Oh, okay, fine. Crusher seems fine. I mean, it's whatever. Like I said, if you put Crusher, fell-handed, great weapon fighter on your human barbarian, yeah, then I think you've got a pretty good row of feats. Granted, it's 8th level before you get there, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
Do I see a sling knocking anyone back? Yes, actually I do. Actually,
I can too. I mean, it's only 5 feet, so I can see a sling making sense in that sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Crusher with dual wield nunchucks.
Yeah. I don't know. Crusher just feels so underwhelming to me personally.
It's the once per turn clause that really cuts Crusher down.
Once per turn, and it's only 5 feet. I feel like you can do more than that.
Well,
again, I'm not against battlefield control as a meleeer, but if I do it, like, I don't know. I feel like 5 feet pushed is just.
I would be okay if they just took off the once per turn, right? Just let let the monk go up and push the guy back 15 feet, right? Let's say Vasir runs up on a guy. Let's say this is not once per turn, but it's whenever you deal bludgeoning damage, you can move someone 5 feet. Vasir runs up and goes, bam, move him 5 feet, takes a 5 foot step. Bam, moves him 5 feet, takes a 5 foot step. Boom, knocks him back 5 feet, takes a 5 foot step.
Yeah.
That I could see, right? Because then
I could see that as being a useful usage of it,
right.
Yeah, because that would actually push them far more than just 5 feet.
Yeah, but you still have to hit, right? So it's not a guaranteed 15 feet, and you don't have to move them straight back in a line like you do with the charge or the bullhorns with the Minotaur. You could punch the guy, knock him backwards 5 feet, take a 5 foot step diagonally, punch him, knock him backwards this way, then take a step and knock him backwards again, and kind of push him through the battlefield, as it were. I think that's fine. Using a hammer to do it, like I said, you're going to trade weapon damage for mobility. That's fine. Your light hammer that you're dual wielding is not doing as much as the longsword you could be two-handing with, or the greatsword.
Yeah, definitely. I just, God, just once a turn 5 feet, like it feels like it's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they took off, if
they took off the once a turn, then I could see it being much more useful. Yeah.
Like, if someone wanted to take this in my game, I would remove the once per turn. I don't think that's because these are play tests, and I don't think I would let you try it out for a session or two as written, and then I would probably make the change. The rest of them just, I don't know. Like, we found a couple good ones. Like, I'm definitely, looking at Fade Touched and Eldritch Adept and Chef. Like, shit. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that, the Metamagic maybe.
Here's something they could do. Thorian mentioned this earlier with Crusher. If they made it so that, like, if you hit somebody 5 feet and they like hit a wall or something, and you get extra damage off of that, I'd be down. Yeah,
there's spells that do that, right? If you hit somebody and they get pushed back and they impact a solid object. I don't think 5 feet, knocking somebody 5 feet back far, it would have to be a 10-foot movement or more for me, for you to take damage. Knocking somebody back 5 feet into a wall doesn't do that much damage. Knocking you 10 feet into a wall, that does. That's like falling.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of see it in the sense because it would only be 5 if they got to move 5 feet and hit a wall. So chances are good they're already up against a wall. So you hit them against. So you're hitting them, essentially sandwiching them between your melee and the wall. So that's kind of the way I see it.
Force movement into a solid object damage as an optional rule. As an optional rule, a general rule or homebrew. It's homebrew. Only specific feats, and I say feats because I don't think there is one, but I'm going to include feats because of new feats.
No, the only feats that exist for force movement just cause force movement. They don't say if they hit a wall, they take damage.
There are spells, and I think there's 2 class abilities that do that, but I wouldn't guarantee it. I know that the spells are specific about movement, and moving them into a space that contains an object. Those are quite specific. As far as me just pushing you into a wall, no. It's mostly home ruled. It's mostly homebrew rules.
Yeah, if you stop moving within a solid object when you're able to move through objects normally, then you take shunting damage essentially.
Yeah. No, there's 2 or 3 spells that push people away. I think there's the higher level Thunderburst spells. If they hit a solid object, they take damage. It's a couple of spells like that, but there's not a lot. Like, it's very, very limited. Now in 3.5, I think it was just a thing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was just if you moved more than 10 feet into an object, you were just. Plus, in 3.5, force movement could cause you to get attacks of opportunity, which they fixed that because that was way overpowered. So no, that's not a thing. It's mostly homebrewed because most DMs are forgiving with physics. A lot of times, like if you run up and if you crit a guy with your maul and your ability says you knock him back 5 feet or knock them back 10 feet and 5 feet away from them is a wall, yeah, you're going to do extra damage because you critted the guy. Like, I'm going to give that to you as a DM because it makes sense physically, and as an actual physics kind of exercise, and it also makes good sense narratively for the characters. So that's normally what we do. You do the same thing, don't you, Wendy? Alex, I think he dipped out for a second.
I do the same thing in my games.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes good sense narratively for the players to give them that extra little thing, which is why Rule 0 is such a great rule. I'm mad that it's not printed in the front of the books anymore, like it used to be.
Yeah.
Because it's enshrined in non-communicative law. It's just the case regardless of whatever you're playing. Yeah. And it's the case regardless of what game system you're playing. It's not just D&D. It's like Cyberpunk and Cthulhu Tech and Shadowrun and fucking World of Darkness. All of it has Rule 0 implicitly put in it. So there's no need to. Everyone knows about it.
I run into people who actually don't know what Rule 0 is, though, because I have a lot of new people playing.
So then you just introduce it to them. You just say, here's a basic thing. I am the DM, and as such, my word is law.
If you don't like it,
players sometimes have trouble with that.
Yeah. Well, no, Rule 0, specifically in the First Player's Handbook, is these rules are merely a guideline. Play the game that you want to play. Okay. And I think a lot of people get hung up on the DM has total control. Well, technically the players have total control because if you don't have any players, you're not a DM, right? That's kind of a, the players can play without you. You can't DM without players. That's kind of the way I've always looked at it. But all right, well, Darth, Lundy, I appreciate your thing on Forge, Foundry. That was very informative. I really like that. I will definitely be looking into that when I can afford to spend more money on things and my wife won't stab me in the eye.
Just a single $50, and then you got it forever.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it's I know 50 is a decent amount for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's, in my opinion, it's just so much better than Roll20 in a lot of ways, and it's still being made, still in beta, it's still getting better.
Yeah.
There's just so much shit. I feel like it's just totally worth it.
No, don't get me wrong. I think
games.
I think it's worth it too, and I will definitely try to make my if I can my next because I am working on another campaign, and I think I might try Foundry if I can get my next. I need 4 more followers. Yay! So with that, I think we covered a lot of good stuff today. It's been 3 hours, so we're going to cut it because it's 1 o'clock, and well, my wife would like to come upstairs and go to bed because she's sleeping on the couch on Wednesdays. So. Thank everyone for coming. We'll do a few little announcements. Don't forget, we need 4 more followers. With 4 more followers, we will hit affiliate, which will be awesome for our channel. And 4 more followers, and we gift sub we gift another sub to the DM Mark Knight over on our sister channels. Speaking of our sister channels, go check out DM the Mark Knight. Go check out Nat30. Go check out Nat Awesome. Darth, do you have things that you run online?
No, I don't run anything online currently.
Okay. We're going to shout out to Farbaco, which is Mark Knight's sponsor. We're going to give a shout out to Comic Book World, which is my sponsor here in the Florence, Kentucky area. Check them out at comicbookworld.com. When we hit our other 4 followers as well, we are going to I am going to randomly gift one of the first 50 followers their Comic Book World is going to give us a set of small box of D&D minis. Also, please don't forget to you can visit us on Patreon. You can donate directly, because this stream, as all of our streams here and everywhere else, are brought to you by you, the viewer. We appreciate everybody that comes by. We appreciate everybody that follows. We appreciate the entire community that we have. And Lundy, your shout outs.
I'm Big Lundy. I stream on Tabor Snapping's channel on Monday nights at 7 p.m. EST, streaming Gods, Ghouls, and Grim, and then I stream on TVRNA's channel on Twitch on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., streaming Role-Playing D-Bags. We might be changing that title at some point in the future. Who knows? And obviously I play with DM the Mark Knight on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, with Loophole on Tuesdays. That 5:30 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. respectively, and I also play in Loophole's game on Sundays. That's also 5:30. I believe
It's 5:30. Yes.
Yeah, that's also a 5:30 p.m. game. So you can find me basically Sunday through Thursday on Twitch at wherever. I'm constantly doing shit.
Yeah, constantly. Yes. Special announcement. We are changing the time of our Tuesday game to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. One of our players is moving.
Yeah. He's moving to a different continent. So
yeah,
I think we can cut him some slack. He's going to school, so he's being a productive member of society. So we can all right. So visit us. Next week we will have I think Izzy will be back. She had plans. She had something she had to do today. Izzy will be back. Mark had a long day today, so sometimes he joins us and sometimes he doesn't. I think that the double game today.
Wednesdays in general are long days for him because he DMs games back to back.
Yeah. He said he would try to stop by. He had a little longer session, I think, tonight.
That's fine. I recorded specifically the Foundry thing just in case people ended up missing it who wanted to get a good look at it and what it was capable of doing. So I'll have that downloaded and put up. So if anybody specifically wants to see that segment, they'll be able to see it.
Don't forget to donate to Extra Life. You'll see the little donation thing down at the bottom. We're trying to raise $1,000 for them. They give money to the Children's Miracle Network, which gives money, which all that money goes to children's hospitals around the country. This one is for the Children's Hospital here in Cincinnati, Ohio. They took care of my 2 oldest children for several weeks when they were sick as babies. My friend's son, I want to give a shout out to Addie's son, who just turned 14 today. 12 years ago, he was diagnosed with cancer, and Children's Hospital keeps him running and keeps him going. So that is awesome. So please give what you can, $1, $2. And speaking of charities, we are going to be pairing with them. We're going to be joining the Mark Knight for a charity stream on the 15th of next month, which we will be donating to the Taylor Project. Yes, the Trevor Project. Sorry,
the Trevor Project.
Yes, the Trevor Project. Those monies. I think the consensus we've managed to almost come to a consensus that it will be a March Madness style competition between D&D.
We're going to be building teams and seeing how they do against each other in a combat scenario.
Yeah. Well, no, we have our teams already. It's just that we will. So it'll be a lot of D&D. The D&D groups from Mark Night, plus our Sunday, plus my Sunday night group, plus other groups from DMs who will. The groups will donate to the charity, and we'll put them on the bracket. We're going to do it March Madness style. I think that's our. Check the Mark Knight's Discord for those things, for the specifics, because it is in another month, and we're having another meeting here soon. But that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping I can find a team that needs an extra body so Tech Type can show up.
You're going to have to equalize all the levels, though. That's going to be a fucking nightmare.
I think we're doing it 10. 10 is easy. Because aside from Friday and Sunday, everybody else is almost 10 anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Tuesday is the highest at 7.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about the other DMs like Nat and them. I think they're just 6, and we may all be 6. I think we just might make a 6. Whatever the closest average is what we'll do. I'm pretty sure. I think that's just easy. I think it's just easier. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. As always, please support your local gaming store. Your local gaming store is where we all got started, and it is where we will all end up again playing in person once we get through all this, because playing in person is the core, is the backbone of D&D. I believe the camaraderie that you get sitting across a table, laughing and having fun in person and meeting your friends is awesome. So, that is it for our stream tonight. Lundy, could you hook me up?
If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can get updates as to new uploads on the channel.
And don't forget to share the videos, not only mine, but the ones you see from Lundy and the ones you see from Mark Knight. Please share those videos on YouTube. Give everybody a shout out. I am Rick. I'm the Loophole King, and we are going to be signing off here from the dark side of the moon in the Blue Cheese Room. Thank you. Be safe, and may all your rolls be crits.